Blueprint of Soul DNA by Dr. Pushpa Nagarani।
इस पुस्तक का ध्वन्यांकन विशेष रूप से दृष्टिबाधित पाठकों के लिए रिहैबिलिटेशन सोसाइटी ऑफ द विजुअली इम्पेयर्ड के सौजन्य से RSV स्टूडियोज में किया गया है।
This book has been recorded in 3 parts. This is part 2. This book is recorded by Soumya in the month of September 2022.
Page 127. Alignment of all our energy fields with soul light and love is essential for awakening and enlightenment. Our journey from illusory self and the illusory third dimensional world reality to our true beingness is also a pathway of alignment of all our energy fields with our soul self. It simply means we need to express and experience our divinity into our everyday life. It can only be done by aligning all our energy fields with the higher frequencies of our soul light and love. It is because all our energy fields are operating on a very low frequency. This lower frequency is what is keeping us imprisoned in the third dimensional reality. Although it does not represent our authentic self, but nevertheless we have adopted it as our true authenticity. Let us start from the very basic core. In third dimensional reality, we have a human body as a divine vehicle through which we experience and express our soul, light and love. Our human body is a construct of physical body energy field, mental energy field, emotional field, casual and etheric field. And all these fields of energy live in our true being, meaning energy field. Our soul energy field can be understood as a pure cosmic consciousness energy field, and we can say it is inside and as well outside us, meaning we live in its embrace, that is surrounded by it, and it is also within us. Page 128. And we also need to understand that to experience our true beingness and true belonging in our day-to-day awareness, all our energy fields have to be in alignment with our soul field energy frequency. But due to our believing in the reality of illusory self and world and behaving as an ego self, all these energy fields are out of tune and chaos. And the present day situation is that all these various energy fields have lost their connection with our soul field energy. So now there is no communication between our soul self and the rest of our energy fields. So the overall effect is that we as soul are not able to direct our human energy fields, but instead all the other energy fields which are operating on the level of third world illusory dimensional frequencies are in control of our lives. And because of that, we are stuck and have become prisoners of the third dimensional illusory world. And that is why we have lost touch with our true beingness and true belonging, the source consciousness of our primal original identity. It simply means that ego self has become the governor and director of our lives. All these energy fields of our human makeup are not only experiencing total disconnect from the soul self, meaning our true being, but are also not in tune with each other as well. Not only that, these are vibrating in a very chaotic manner. There is another factor as well, that these are not even operating in harmony and synchronization with each other. And so, in fact, these are working against each other as well. Their lower frequency vibrations are attacking each other as well. Page 129. I just want to point out that it is built in innate nature of the low frequency chaotic vibrations that these attack the source, meaning where these are being generated, and as well as wherever they pass through, and whoever comes in contact with them become the target of their attack. In simple words, The energy frequencies of all our energy bodies are in such a chaos that the situation is that the dynamics of our whole energy system has completely broken down. So, the overall effect is that the rhythmic patterns and harmonic of the whole energy system has been totally disturbed. And we can say that in a way our energy system has been completely paralyzed. So now it is totally fragmented and all these various energy fields have begun to operate even much lower frequencies than what we need to stay put on the planet Earth. It simply means that we are rapidly losing the power and the life force to maintain the human template. It is because these lower chaotic arithmetic frequencies, vibrations are continuously draining our specific life force frequently that is very essential to maintain the substrate template of human body necessary for staying on the planet. So now you can understand that we are now standing on a very critical juncture of our lives. We are not only living a very fragmented life, but we are also in danger of losing our right to be born in a human body on planet Earth. Page 130. And I have been given a very secret and important information by the very important members of cosmic hierarchy. And it is that in this end time of Kali Yuga, for most of us, this is our last incarnation on the planet Earth. Because almost all of us have lost the specific vital frequency of life force that we need to maintain to work through a human vehicle. It is because we have lost all control on all our human energy fields. And not only that, these energy fields are very wounded and damaged. It is not possible to keep these alive and working. The reason being the state of our present consciousness of forgetfulness and total disconnect with our soul self and eternal source, the primordial life force. It is because when we are living our lives as our soul self and also connected with our eternal source power, we are able to receive the essential life force to maintain the human template and all our human energy fields. Not only that, we are also able to live as our higher self, and we are able to walk on the pathways of soul and divine light and love. But unfortunately, by hypnotic trance of illusory forces and illusory self, we have lost our connection fully during many human lives on planet Earth. And at the same time, most of us are not taking any steps for our becoming awake into our true beingness and true belonging. Fortunately, the spiritual hierarchy, our guardian angels, and also many other highly evolved beings of light and love who have been working with us for many lifetimes were already aware of this fact. Page 131. And especially from our last incarnation and also when we were preparing for our present incarnation, all these benevolent, compassionate beings of light and love are aware of this delicate balance and the situation. And because we are very loving and precious children of Divine Almighty, a plan of unprecedented, unconditional love and grace was put in place for our awakening and enlightenment. And when we were being prepared and getting ready for our present incarnation, we were showered with unprecedented, unconditional grace that has never happened in the universe before. We were all given a large portion of divine grace and compassion. And under this great benevolent plan of the divine grace, we were all given some specific and special divine powers, meaning Shaktis, so that we can be easily awakened and enlightened. It means we can easily connect to our soul self, which is our true beingness, and also wake up to our true belonging. So, we can re-establish an alive and vibrant, individual, original relationship with divine eternal consciousness. And it is all done as part of the great scheme of things and the grand plan of the primordial forces, which are extremely benevolent, compassionate, and gracious. It is being graced upon all of us, no matter where we have been and what kind of experiences we had. How far we have fallen in the third dimensional illusory game. Everything, meaning all our illusory acts, all our forgetfulness about our true being and belonging, has been totally forgiven and forgotten in the great scheme of things and grand plan of gracious cosmos. Page 132. And it is all because Divine loves us tremendously and immensely, which is beyond our mental orientation and understanding. And so Divine cannot see us suffering in this third dimensional reality. In the great benevolent, gracious scheme of things, we all have been given innumerable opportunities and been showered with immeasurable grace of ongoing basis. But somehow or the other, under the hypnosis of illusory world, we have not chosen to wake up from the deep sleep of the Mayavi forces. Although some of us have tried now and again for a short while, but have not been able to persevere on the pathways of light and love. And Divine knows and understands our limitations and the power and effect of illusory hypnosis, and that is why Divine has decided to come onto earth and within our hearts in a very alive and vibrant way. Not only that, a huge team of spiritual hierarchy and many beings of light and love from various dimensions and universes have landed on planet Earth. These are very highly evolved beings of light and love and hold many special talents, divine Shaktis, power and expertise. And they are here to assist in the work of divine eternal source. And that is why they have landed on planet Earth to help us in our awakening and enlightenment. And it is all due to unprecedented, unconditional, divine grace and love so that we can be freed from the third dimensional reality of experiencing separation on many levels. Page 133. We can reunite and live our remaining years on planet Earth in union with our true belonging. And so we can get liberation for all the illusory forces and illusory self and cross the threshold of game plan of karma. So we would be able to realize the divine purpose of being born in the human body in third dimensional reality and move into the higher dimensions of light and love. It means being graced with the higher state of consciousness of being fully awakened and centered in our true eternal identity. It is only when we become totally and completely centered and re-established in our own self that we can experience the true soul freedom. In simple, towards only them we can live in the state of higher consciousness of true freedom. It is the total freedom from the game of karma and the illusory forces of the third dimensional worlds. It is the state of enlightenment, and in this higher state of consciousness, we would be free to choose how we would like to experience life on which dimension. We will have many doors opened up for us. And also, we would also have the true soul wisdom to know higher and divine choices. And also, the help will still be available from the beings of light and love. It is because from now on, we will experience our being in divine and live our lives in complete and total union with divine. Page 134. It will be the beginning of our true journey and adventure into infinite numbers of higher dimensions of love and light. So be happy, life is waiting for us in a very big way. And also, there will be infinite blessings of unconditional love and grace wherever we go. We also need to remember that even in our awakened and enlightened state of consciousness, the gift of our free will is never taken away from us. And so, we would be able to choose what we would like to experience. And so, those who wish to return to planet Earth to serve and help others in the process of awakening and enlightenment will be able to do so. And not only that, we will also be able to come on planet Earth in golden age if we wish to do so. And you would be surprised to know that many enlightenment beings do return to planet Earth as co-workers and associate to serve Divine Almighty. And even at present time, many beings of light and love, those who are helping in augmenting the great plan of the cosmos, are the ones who have been on plain Earth for long time and have realized their true beingness and eternal belonging with the Divine Almighty. And now, with their own sweet free will, they have chosen to come back to planet Earth as cosmic helpers and are helping and supporting us in our awakening and enlightenment. What we need to understand is that to become awakened and enlightened, all we have to do is to align all our energy fields with the frequencies of our soul self. Page 135. It is also because we were given these energy fields as a gift of unconditional love and grace. At that time, when we first acquired these, all were willing with higher frequencies of light. But by our ignorance, we have damaged these. And we cannot leave these into this damaged condition and move into the higher dimensions. It is because now it is our responsibility to purify and transform these back to their original frequencies, so these can return to their original source as well. And as you already know that the source of these particles and frequencies is same as our own true belonging. And another very important factor is that our own soul, love and light particles and frequencies are also trapped with these energy fields. It is because all our experiences are stored in these various energy fields in the various vibrational frequencies. So before we can move into the higher dimensions of pure love and light, we have to free our trapped parts. It is because we cannot leave third dimensional reality without reclaiming our trapped and entangled parts. And we should also remember that enlightenment simply means coming into light, that is, re-establishing ourselves into our own soul, light and love. And we have to become whole and complete again. And being awakened and enlightened is a journey of claiming back our totality and original holistic self. We cannot enter into the higher dimensions as fragmented beings and also at the same time parts of ourselves still trapped into the darkness of the illusory reality. Page 136. And the damaged energy fields are the areas where we have been trapped in darkness and dark caves of the third dimensional Mayavi forces. And so, these areas have to be embraced in our soul, light and love if we want to become wholesome and centered in our true being. We need to understand another very important fact in this context, that this whole process is very complex and intricate, and there is no way we can achieve and accomplish that by our own strength and power. It is because we are under the dominance of the illusory forces, so it is beyond and above us. And that is why we have to invite Divine Supreme Source and power to rescue us from this third dimensional reality and restore our ancient original face and beauty. It means with unconditional love and grace, Divine Almighty will restore our own divinity by transforming our distorted illusory portrait into a being of pure light and love, the way Divine created us in the first place. So, we must understand that it is only Divine Almighty who can free us from the third dimensional reality. Divine Almighty can also free our parts that are trapped in these various energy fields and in the landscape of this illusory dimension of darkness. After freeing us from these traps, Divine, with its unconditional love and grace, will cleanse and purify all our energy fields and also restore these to their original frequency of light and love. So, these can reunify with their true belonging and find their ultimate peace and destiny with the primordial forces where these originated from in the first place. Page 137. That is how the great scheme and original plan of the cosmos works. We all have to understand and carry out our responsibility and role in the great scheme of things and honor our true being and true belonging. So, in essence, the message is that an enlightened, awakened being is fully conscious and aware being of light and love whose all energy fields are vibrating at the level of pure love consciousness. In that state, all our energy fields are completely healed, and all the energy fields are vibrating in harmony and synchronicity with each other. And the vibratory sounds emitted by these energy fields are of higher and pure harmonics which are in tune with the original sound of the soul self. May you find the courage to walk on the path of your own soul light and love and bring harmony to your whole energy dynamics, so you can embrace your true being and true belonging and move on to your true journey into the higher dimensions of light and love and blessings. Page 138. Alignment of physical body with soul, light and love is essential for awakening and enlightenment. We are souls experiencing our lives on the planet Earth in the third dimensional reality through our physical body. We, as a soul self, are beings of pure divine love and light. We are constituted by very high frequencies of divine love and light, and so we are very powerful and vast. Our human body is really a miracle in itself. It is very unique and it is constituted of 5 energy fields, of which the physical body is the most superficial and as well as the most solid one. Our physical body, a very special divine gift, and if we were not graced with the divine gift of the physical body, it would not have been possible for us to experience divine glory of manifestation in the third dimensions of the universe. That is why it has been said, and it is also very true, that our physical body is the most precious gift of divine to us. It is through this precious body that we not only travel in the third dimensional reality to experience the majesty of divine, but it has a divine purpose for us as well. It is a very important and in fact the most significant part or step on our eternal journey as soul on the different dimensional on the universe. Page 139. This is the part of our journey that, when successfully realized, only then we can move on to the higher dimensions of the universe and progress into the real and higher part of our eternal journey of soul selves into the higher dimensions of pure light and love. It acts like a launching pad for our true journey in union with our true belonging, meaning with Divine Almighty. That means it is while living in the physical body that we have to accomplish the part of journey on planet Earth by making a live and vibrant relationship with Divine and our soul self. That is what has been known as enlightenment. That is the self-realization or the awakening into the divine light and love that is our true belonging, meaning divine source. We would then continue the further journey as our soul selves in union with divine. It would be end of the separateness and limitedness that we are experiencing now and have been doing for a very, very long time. And in the higher realms of true light and love, we would be beyond the effect of the illusory forces of the third dimensional realities. At present, we are living far away from our divine belonging and also our true beingness as soul. This world, the third dimensional reality, is our school of learning where we learn to connect to our true beingness. It is where we have to learn to realize our true connection and belonging to our source, the divine. It is the land for discovering our true beingness. It is the time and place where we are remembering our divinity that has been claimed by the forces of illusion. Page 140. Our illusory self is the identity that we have adopted under the hypnotic trance of the illusory world. The third dimension is the illusory world, so called the dream of the divine or the play of the divine. Although divine Leela is illusory and just a play, but it is our experiential reality at present and it has a divine purpose. Always remember that in universe nothing is done without any cause and purpose. All that exists, no matter how big or small, visible or invisible, serves a divine purpose. Everything is meaningful and exists for a very important divine purpose. And at the same time, it plays a very meaningful and purposeful role in the great scheme of things. And everything has been planned and designed with great purity and precision to serve its specific role in the grand plan of the primordial force of the cosmos. And the Divine Almighty is the source power of all that exists and the way it exists. This perception or insight might not sound or feel right or very important to our minds because of our limited understanding, and also due to the mesmerizing effect of the trance that is created by the illusory forces of the third dimensional world. It is because our understanding is only based on the illusory self and the world we live in. But nevertheless, it is the cosmic truth and it cannot lose its significance or disappear and or become non-functional just because we cannot understand it or its significances due to the lack of understanding. We should open up to realize that our physical body is a divine gift of grace and it is a privilege to be provided a vehicle as miraculous, beautiful and divine as human body. Page 141. It is through this human body that we express, experience and share our unique beingness with others on the planet Earth. It is through this physical body that an energy exchange of countless varied vibratory frequencies is happening on numerous levels. It is not only happening on superficial level that we experience in our varied relationships with others in any way. And the most important fact that we are not aware of that, it is also happening on many levels of our multi-dimensional beingness. And the multi-dimensional vibratory energy exchange is a very important part of the great scheme of things of the universe. It is very sacred and of immense importance. It is so intricate and subtle that it is beyond and comprehension of our human understanding. Our physical body has also been called a temple. Temple meaning a place where divine resides. In this very physical body of ours, not only we live as our soul selves, but also the divine to which we belong. It means that divine, who is our source, the creator, also lives with this temple. It is all part of the expression of divine glory and at the same time unconditional divine grace and love for all of us. We need to understand that for time being, till we finish our third dimensional journey, our human body is our sacred home. Although we have a home made of bricks and mortar, but in fact our true home on planet Earth is this physical body. It is very important for experiencing life in the third dimensional reality. Page 142. Although in one sense we can say that our soul self resides in the body, but a better and another level of way to understand it is that our body lives immersed in the radiance of our divine energy field. It means our body lives in the embrace of our soul light and love energy field. The light and love of our soul self creates, or you can say it emanates, an energy field. We can say that our physical body is experiencing its beingness in the divine soul and light energy field. Or you can say it is experiencing itself or its beingness within the beingness of our soul self. And all time it is in the embrace of our own loving and caring soul light and love. We need to take this fact like our meditation and contemplate on it to understand its depth and importance. The physical body is a wondrous divine creation. Its power and potential is truly great. That is why the human body is honored as the greatest creation of divine. Some mystics and beings of light even honor the human body as the crown and diamond or jewel of the creation. Its potential is far much greater than we realize. Although we do think it is very important, but it is due to our attachment to it because we think it is our reality. But our perception does not come from the true and higher understanding, and it is due to ignorance and absence of real inner knowing. So, we do not realize its true divine purpose and potential. And as such, at present, we are only using it for our living our lives as our illusory self, and only with the understanding that the illusory world is all there is. Page 143. So, all we are experiencing is the very limited function and power of the physical body. It is only because of our ignorance and forgetfulness of our divinity that we are living under the hypnotic trance of illusory self and illusory world of the third dimension of the universe. That is why our physical bodies have lost the significance that it really holds for realization of our true destiny. But now, at the critical juncture of end times and beginning of golden age, we have to understand that our human body has the potential of taking us to our ultimate divine destiny. That means becoming a being of light and love. It means connecting to our soul self, that is our own divinity, and helping us in re-establishing a vibrant, alive and active relationship and communication with our divine source. And then crossing the threshold of the lower illusory world and moving on to the journey into the higher dimensions of pure love and light. At present, our bodies are not operating on the highest frequencies that are possible. It means all the cells that constitute our physical bodies have lost their divinity along with us. At this great age of transformation, we need to understand that our physical bodies are divine as well, and can be restored to its divinity. To understand the true nature and the potential of our physical makeup, we need travel back to when in the very beginning, for the first time, we started our journey into the third dimensional reality in the physical body.
Page 144. In the very beginning, when divine created the physical body, it was pure and made of very fine particles and vibrations of love and light as well. These cells were pulsating with pure divine light and love and were radiating pure frequencies of divine light and love. And our physical bodies were not as solid and of physical character and qualities as these are at present. Our physical bodies were etheric, that is, highly vibrant energy particles and waves of light and love. What we need to understand is that as a soul, we have been given the sacred body and the freedom to express ourselves as we would like to. When we started our life journey for the first time by inhabiting the human body, our physical body was in its purest divine form. Its vibration frequency was very high and it was truly sacred. All the cells and organs were vibrating on the higher divine frequencies. It was in alignment with our own soul light and love, and also with divine light and love. It is because we have not yet come under the grips of the trance of the illusory forces. That is, we have not adopted the illusory I, me and mine as our true identity. We were still fully awakened. We did remember who we are in divine, what our relationship with divine is, and what is our divine makeup and being. That means we were fully aware that we are souls, sparks of divine. And we belong to divine. Our beingness is in the divine, who is our creator and source. We do not and cannot exist without the source. Our existence is gift of divine and is divine. We were in total union with our divine source. That means we were living our lives embraced in our true belonging. Page 145. You can understand it more if you just close your eyes for a moment and focus on your third eye. This is the center of your true self and the true wisdom of your soul self. Think it this way: the divine created us with love and with its pure light and love frequencies. Divine infused its own qualities and powerful energy beams of divine energy into our beingness, that is, our soul self, and then infused us with all the grace and blessings so that we can live our lives on the planet Earth, that is, in the third dimension, as our soul self by remaining in alive and vibrant relationship with our Divine Father. Also, keep in mind that we were not under the grips of illusory forces and we have not collected any karma. So, our physical body did not have imprints or effects of any negative, that is, lower frequencies of the third dimensional reality or its effects. Now, hold your divinity in your heart, then you can understand that we as pure soul self would have needed a pure higher frequency body made up of divine light and love to reside in that. It has to have all the divine qualities and blessings and grace frequencies to make it possible for us to experience life through its medium. And always remember that we have been graced with a pure divine body and heart filled with pure frequencies of divine love and light. But gradually we become much more focused and centered in the external world. Due to focus in the external world, our consciousness and energies became centered into the external world scenarios. The ego formation began to take a shape and form.
Page 146. That increased our focus even to a greater extent in the outer world. The external worlds begin to appear much more real. And gradually we developed a consciousness of union, meaning oneness with our ego self, and embraced the external world as our true reality. We can understand how we got completely lost in the trance of the illusory forces by understanding the law of focus. The energy generated by our focus, that is, wherever we put our attention, is so great that our consciousness, the creative force, becomes focused and concentrated on the object of our focus. And as we have many divine given energies and qualities, all these become centered on the point of the focused object. So, we begin to manifest and materialize the very things that we focused our attention on, meaning things of the physical material world. And slowly, we became fascinated with our creative power and the things that we were able to create. Our growing fascination with our creative power and the things we could create, we began to materialize more of the material things. Under the magic spell and hypnotic trance of the illusory self, which was growing rapidly due to taking pride in what we were able to create, we began to forget the real power and majesty of divine behind all that was happening. Slowly, that illusory I created the magic spell. And in the process, we even become much more materialistic, body pleasure oriented. We lost all sense of our divinity and divine connection, meaning true belonging. As the result of hypnosis and lack of awareness and wakefulness, we gradually became body oriented, and pleasures of life from the external would become only our reality. Page 147. We begin to totally identify with our body and things and experiences of the external world. We totally forgot our own divinity and our divine source. The two most important eternal realities of our life were pushed back in the ground far away from our day-to-day consciousness as far as possible. It was the game plan of Mayavi forces that so we could never become aware of the truth of our lives. And so, in our present state of consciousness, we cannot hear the sweet, tender, loving call of the divine or of our own soul selves. We cannot see our own soul light and feel the love that we are. And as such, we lost touch with our eternal truth and reality. Now you can see how under the influences of illusory world, we have adopted the third dimensional darkness as our true reality. And as a result of this hypnotic trance of the illusory self from the divine state of consciousness, we have totally and completely transgressed to lower third dimensional state of emotions and mind-body consciousness. And we are all very aware that picture of our eternal divine reality has changed completely, and at present we are totally living with a mistaken illusory identity. And this is not only true for this lifetime, we have been doing that for more than thousands of lifetimes. So now our physical bodies have altered and changed completely. It is due to living our lives under the hypnotic trance of the third dimensional reality. We have been living as if the third external world and the illusory I is our true reality, and it is all there is.
Page 148. This illusory self is ego self, which is also known by many names such as little self, lower self, false self, illusory self, etc. This illusory self is part of the third dimensional reality. And third dimensional reality is an illusory domain and dimension. It is governed by the qualities and characteristics of the illusory factors and principles of the Maya worlds. And these are attachment, greed, anger, lust, and pride, also called ahankar. And together as a group are also known as Vishay Vikars. Depending on our experiences of external world, we have developed many beliefs and values. And on the basis of these, we define our pain and pleasure, good and bad, higher and lower, and success and failure, etc. This is the world of duality. So you can say it is all about I, me, and mine. And we are always busy protecting and this illusory I and whatever we have accumulated in form of me and mine from the world of illusion. At this stage, all we have to understand is that we have forgotten our soul character, qualities, and powers. And so in simple words, we are following the ways of illusory self and the illusory world, meaning the collective mind-body consciousness. Another very important thing we have to remember that our physical body, meaning all the cells and organs of our body, hold the imprint of our negative and positive experiences. It holds the memories of how we have been hurt and how we have been wounded through many experiences of our lives. It holds our guilt, our shame, and secrets of all the time we have betrayed ourselves and others. Our body holds the imprint of our experiences, our thoughts, beliefs, and emotions. Page 149. It also holds our karmic energy imprints that we have brought as our destiny in this present lifetime. What we need to understand is that the physical body that we have now is the mirror of our present state of consciousness and karmic baggage. We are presently experiencing our lives under the laws of the cause and effect of third dimensional reality. And as such, we are riding on the karmic wheel. And on this wheel of karmic law, we are experiencing life and death of our human body. It is the cosmic merry-go-round and just keeps going round and round. And in each new birth, after going round a full circle, we die in our human body and go to the astral plane. On the astral plane, we rest for a while according to the state of our consciousness, and then we take another physical body, are born again on the planet Earth. And in this new incarnation, we go full circle again on the merry-go-round of the cosmos. And as such, we had innumerable lifetimes on the planet Earth. We can understand better by example of this present life. Before we started our present life journey on the planet Earth, we were on the astral plane. And according to the laws of karma, our present incarnation was planned, designed, and designated by Lord of Karma, our soul selves, and angels who are the spiritual cosmic teachers and our protectors as well. The whole plan of our present lifetime was decided under the great scheme of things and grand plan of the benevolent, gracious universe. And the basis was our highest good, that what would be best way for our life story to unfold so that we can come into awakening of our eternal truth. Page 150. What karmic energy exchange we need to take with us through which we would be able to realize our deeper truth and reconnect to divine. In simple words, what would be the best way for us to become enlightened? It was so designed that we can finish the unfinished issues from previous store of karma and at the same time realize our true ultimate destiny. Karmic issues are the mirror of our ignorance and the dark areas where we followed the illusory ways of life. It means the areas where we lived our lives by identifying with illusory self and so followed the negative ways of illusory darkness. So in simple words, in each new incarnation, we are given a second chance to rectify our error of judgment and bring our soul light and love in the areas where we walked into darkness of the illusory world. That is why process of awakening is also called enlightenment, meaning bringing light in the dark corners and caverns of our inner landscape. So what we need to understand is that the physical body that we inherit to live our each incarnation on the planet Earth is decided according to the karmic energy exchange. And our body holds all the karmic energy patterns as well as the tendencies and our characteristics that we have adopted by following the illusory ways of life. And all these are of lower vibratory frequencies because we have lived life based on attachment, greed, anger, lust, and pride, that is the self-importance. The point I am trying to explain is that now our physical bodies are not pure and made up of soul, light, and love. These are constitutes of our karma and negative illusory tendencies and beliefs and values that we have adopted as our reality. Page 151. And it is not just the fact regarding this present incarnation, this has been happening for many previous lifetimes as well. We also need to understand that our DNA is constituted based on all the above factors. But remember, this is only very short description to understand the great majesty and mystery behind the multifactorial karma principle of the universe that we live in. What we need to understand now is that to transcend the illusory self and finish the journey on the planet Earth so we can achieve our divine destiny, we need to begin to walk on the pathways of soul and divine light and love. It is because we cannot finish our journey of the cycles of repeated reincarnation on planet Earth till we become fully awakened and enlightened. It means we are bound to this karmic cosmic merry-go-round ride until we embrace our soul, light and love and re-establish our original relationship with our source, almighty, all that is. That is where we have to understand our soul DNA. What is our soul DNA? A very long time ago, we started our journey on planet Earth into the third dimensional reality. At that time, we in our soul selves were given this human body to experience and express our uniqueness in this third dimensional reality. At that time, we were given some very special and specific divine frequencies we can call there as our soul DNA. It has the energy imprint for our divine destiny. And our divine destiny is that no matter how far we fall down in our frequency, that is the way we live our lives in deception of the illusory forces of the lower realms of the universe. We would never be lost. Page 152. And at some time or the other, we would return back to the source. It means the door and the pathway to return to our true home will remain open at all times. And the moment we become inspired and intend to return home or just feel that there is something more to life than we are experiencing, Immediately, all the help to guide us on the pathways of light and love will be graced upon us, and we will be escorted back to the source. That is the gift of divine grace, that one day or the other, all that is created will go back to the source. It means that all of us, we would achieve self-realization. It means that all of us will be awakened and enlightened and would return to the higher dimensions of reality. It is also very important to understand this plan of great scheme of things, because at present we are living a lie under the false ego identity, but we are not the illusory self, and the illusory worlds are not our divine residence. And as such, we cannot live in our mistaken identity forever. And that is why divine has already made the provision that one day we would realize that enough is enough, and it is time to return home to our source and become centered in our true beingness and live in union with our true belonging. And it has been already graced upon us that one day the dawn of awakening will shine on our lives, and we will wake up from the deep coma of third dimensional reality. Page 153. Divine Almighty is all-knowing and very gracious and loves us very much because we are His beloved children. So Divine, with His unconditional love and grace, has already put all the necessary information about the pathways and the energy and power that we would need to connect to our true being soul self, and also make a live vibrant link with our primordial divine source and return home. And the good news is that we are already at the threshold point, because the countdown to end times has already begun and golden age is approaching fast. So in fact, there is already an urgency, and now is the high time to take that conscious decision to embrace our soul, light and love, and begin to walk onto the pathways of light and love, and begin our true journey of enlightenment, meaning embracing the divine light and love. For that, we have to learn to build the pathway to the bridge of light and love, which is already in place for all of us as a gift of divine grace. We also need to understand that we have to realize our ultimate destiny while being alive in the physical body and living on the planet Earth. And as I have already explained to you, that our physical body is that vehicle which is to help us to build the frequencies of light and love, to build and walk on the pathway of light and love. First of all, I want to remind you to understand that our physical body also has the divine potential to vibrate on the higher frequencies of love and light. And we all need to transform our lower third dimensional frequencies into higher and pure frequencies of the fifth or higher dimensions to be able to enter into the golden age or any other higher dimensions of the universe. Page 154. It is only when we align ourselves to higher frequencies of light and love that we would be able to enter and live in the higher dimensions of the universe. It is because the law of compatibility of the frequencies operates in the whole universe. We can only live and experience our lives on the dimension which is compatible and in synchronization with our own frequencies. So it is easy to understand that with our energy field frequencies of the illusory world filled with greed, anger, jealousy, hatred, and me and mine, all the time we cannot enter into higher dimensions of pure love and light. You are all aware that we have a DNA in all the cells of our body. It is our DNA that holds all the information of who we are and what kind of physical body we will have, where would we be able to live, and what kind of ailments we are prone to, meaning what kind of life we would experience, etc. This template was already set on the astral plane before we decided to reincarnate in present times. What I want to tell you is that we also have a lot of hidden potential in our DNA makeup that we are not aware of. And our DNA is only working in a limited capacity. Most of our DNA is dormant. Even scientists are now realizing that there is so much in our DNA that is not very well understood. We can understand it this way, that our DNA is not static, it is very vibrant and alive dynamic energy system. Page 155. And as we begin to reconnect to divine and our true being, By following the pathways of light and love, our DNA can also be reactivated and transformed. It simply means that our physical body is a very alive, vibrant, and dynamic energy system. It is not set in stone and is not a done deal. And we can consciously decide and transform our physical bodies as well. So we must understand and remember that the frequencies at which our bodies are vibrating and pulsating can be brought into alignment with the frequencies of our soul, light, and love. This is a divine gift of unconditional love and grace, and it is very important to remember while we are deciding to walk off the pathways of light and love, because it will inspire and help us to keep cool and balanced while we journey on the pathways of light and love. So, we need to understand that the provision of our body to become of higher frequency is already present in our own makeup. So, if we walk on the pathways of light and love, our body will also help us and become co-partners with us in our higher evolution. It simply means that our physical bodies will also give their assistance in realization of our divine purpose and goal. It is up to us what we choose to do, because to get the assistance of our physical makeup, we have to learn to respect and honor our physical bodies and look after our physical body as our divine assets of grace and unconditional love. Only then, when we bring higher frequencies in our physical body, that our DNA can evolve and our physical bodies can begin to operate on the higher frequencies. And this can help us to lift up from the lower illusory frequencies. Page 156. We would be able to retain the higher frequencies that we would receive from the higher dimensions of light and love, and also from the many beings of light and love who are helping us to evolve into divine light and love and ascend to higher dimension of the universe. Even scientists have come to the conclusion that only about 3% of our DNA is active, and a huge part of DNA, what scientists used to call it as junk DNA. But according to the beings of light and love and spiritual hierarchy, in fact, it is very important part of our makeup. Although at present most of it is inactive, but nevertheless it can play a very important role in our becoming the beings of light and love. It means our physical bodies have the potential to be transformed into the etheric high frequencies light and love energy bodies. Our physical bodies can become as pure and dynamic as these were when we started our journey for the first time. So learn to look after your body. Drink plenty of water every day. It helps to dehydrate and detoxify our body and flush the toxins from our body. Improve your dietary habits and eat healthy food. Avoid junk food and consume fruit and vegetables every day. Do some physical exercise each day. It is very essential to do some deep breathing exercises each day. Also, learn simple meditation and yoga technique and do few minutes of meditation and yoga every day. It produces endorphins and regulates our hormonal meaning endocrine system. It also helps to reduce the effect of stress on our body and mind. Page 157. It is very essential to avoid any form of alcohol, addictive drugs, and smoking. Also, avoid excessive intake of tea and coffee because caffeine in large amounts can also make us restless. It is because if our bodies are not healthy, we would suffer from fatigue, tiredness, and various types of health problems. All this lowers the vibrational frequency of our body. So, it would become difficult to pay attention to awakening needs and process. We will not be able to focus our attention on anything, and life in general will become very difficult. This is only to give an idea. This is a very short description, so you need to find some detailed information about how to keep your health on optimal level. It is very important to understand that due to end times and the beginning of the golden age, we are being graced with rise in state of consciousness. This is the time of awakening, and as such, many beams of higher frequencies of divine light and love have already landed on our planet Earth. And also, many waves of awakening, meaning higher vibrational frequencies, are continuously entering on the planet Earth to quicken our limited illusory state of consciousness to a higher state of consciousness. We are at least becoming aware that we are not living to our full potential, and the way we are living is only illusory and is only enhancing this illusory I and whatever we have accumulated in the form of me and mine from the world of illusion. It is neither our truth nor it can help us in realizing our true beingness and our true belonging. Page 158. With the unprecedented, limitless, divine, unconditional love and grace, we are all being prepared for the golden age and or for the higher dimensions of pure love and light. It all depends on state of our consciousness and how far we are willing to transform our destiny. Due to the higher frequency beams of unconditional divine grace and love which are entering into our planet Earth, all of us are being transformed to some or greater extent according to our state of consciousness. We are all being blessed and graced into higher frequencies of light and love. This is so that we can become more open and receptive to divine calling. We can become awakened to our soul calling and have some remembering of our ancient self and belonging. So, at least we can make up our mind and develop an intention and willingness to connect to our true being. And at the same time, develop a desire or at least a question to seek where we have come from. And begin to seek our connection with divine, that is our eternal source and belonging. The Divine Almighty has created us and loves us very much. And it also knows and understands our limitedness and how deep we are in the coma of illusory world. And Divine knows that we cannot become awakened by our own efforts. And not only that, we cannot even become aware that we are living under the illusory forces and it is not our reality. And under the hypnotic trance, we certainly cannot understand or remember that we are souls and we need to embrace our true beingness and divinity. Page 159. So, due to unconditional love and grace of divine, our DNA is being activated to some degree. That means we are all being altered and transformed to some degree in our general makeup, dynamics and frequencies. New patterns of higher frequencies of light and love are being poured constantly to raise our state of consciousness and the makeup of our own human body. Those who are already walking on the pathways of light and love and those who intend to do so and are inviting forces of light and love in their lives, their DNA is being activated to a great degree. It is due to their willingness that they are receiving much more help. The various portals and points of lights on their DNA that can receive higher frequencies of light and love are being activated so that their awakening is speeded up. Simply, our DNA is being transformed very rapidly in many ways so we all can realize our true beingness and belonging. So we can all become beings of pure light and love, that is our true and eternal identity. Due to divine grace, this process is carried out individually for all of us according to our state of consciousness. It is because universe is very kind and compassionate, and the great scheme of things and gracious grand plan of cosmos, it is always kept in mind that process of transformation is as smooth as possible so we can grow with least discomfort. This is a very intricate and fine process, and there are beings of pure light and love who are experts in bringing about great transformation into our energy makeup. And some of them have been given special powers to bring about the change in our energy dynamics and DNA by Divine Almighty. Page 160. And these beings of light and love are working as divine messengers, teachers, and light co-workers and are helping the whole humanity. There are billions and billions of light workers from higher dimensions, various universes, and as well as from various star systems. And these beings of light and love have many very different expertise, skills and talents and are of various grades if we can say so. They are here on the planet Earth to fulfill the divine will for our awakening and enlightenment. And they are also helping in creating the pure and loving environment for helping us in the process of transformation. And they are also here to support and help the transformation of Mother Earth into the higher dimensional frequencies of love and light. And for all that, they are showering the specific and unique higher frequencies of divine grace and love and light in the planet Earth. It is because the transformation of Mother Earth is also very important and essential to support the golden age. All we have to do is to be willing and invite divine into our hearts and life, and surrender ourselves totally and completely so that divine can transform us into our original self. It is because divine cannot interfere in our lives due to the freedom given by the divine. Divine cannot take charge of our lives and transform us without our invitation. So, we have to use our divine given freedom of free will to invite divine in our hearts and lives and request him to free us from the shackles of illusion and transform us into beings of light and love. Page 161. Path of the total surrender is the only way to come to realization of our true beingness as soul and develop a living, alive relationship with our divine source, the Creator Almighty. We also have to learn to walk on the pathways of light and love in our day-to-day life. For time being, just remember that we need to walk as pathways of light and love for crossing the threshold of ego self to soul self, and connecting to divine is the journey into our inner sacred space, because it is where our soul self and divine resides. It is where we have an access to our subconscious mind, supreme consciousness of our soul self, and the source or the cosmic consciousness, meaning the divine Almighty itself. The outward journey we have been doing so far can only connect and trap us into the land of illusion and the illusory self. So now we have to focus our attention inwardly into the sacred inner space, the cosmic Akash and the space. That is where secret and the doorway lies to our divine destiny. So do your regular Om meditation that helps us to center our focus in our inner dimensions. Try to do meditation for opening third eye. Third eye opens our higher senses and inner soul Shaktis, and so on the pathways of awakening and enlightenment. It is a must.
Page 162. Alignment of astral body energy field with soul, light and love is essential for awakening and enlightenment. On the journey and quest of our true beingness and belonging, we need to walk on the pathways of light and love. It is important so that we can reconnect to our own soul, light and love, which is our own divinity. So we can become who we truly are, beings of pure divine light and love. And as we have already discussed that we are experiencing our life on the third dimensional reality in a human body, and in which we have been graced with various energy fields to experience life and express ourselves in this third dimensional reality. This plan has been ordained and designed by the great scheme of things, and these various energy fields are our partners and companions through which we as our soul selves orchestrate various ways of experiencing and expressing ourselves. One of these important cosmic partners and assistant companion is the astral body, which is also known as emotional body or energy field. The astral body is a very higher frequency energy field. In its pure love essence form, it is made of very fine vibrations and very shiny twinkling minute energy stars. Page 163. What I mean to say that the astral body awakened into its original primal beauty looks like made of stars that are placed on the golden strings of fine vibrations. These stars are constantly shimmering and pulsating with very high frequencies of light and love. Even the strings of fine golden particles are pulsating, shimmering and twinkling.
When you look at the astral energy field, it seems like a dance of stars, golden particles, and waves. It all happens in a very majestic and wonderful way. If you could ever see a being of light and love whose astral energy field is fully illumined and has become totally transparent and shining, and its luminous radiance is so luminous that it illuminates the surrounding area with golden hue of dancing colors. It is a wonderful experience. It is really very enchanting and awe-inspiring. But all this can only be seen with our soul senses, so you would be able to see it when your third eye is opened with divine grace. But do not worry, because these days tremendous amount of divine light and love frequency beams have already descended on planet Earth and are continuously doing so. And as a result, whosoever sincerely invites divine in his heart and life, he will be able to receive unconditional divine grace and love, and his life will be totally transformed. And in the process of transformation, your soul sense will be activated, and third eye of higher visions is also opened as a gift of divine grace. And as such, you will be able to see and experience the presence of the beings of light and love who are helping us in our transformation in our end times. Page 164. And many of these beings of light and love who are helping us in our transformation have astral energy field illuminated in its primal beauty and radiance. So, you will be able to experience this great manifestation of divine majesty and splendor. There is another important factor that with the gift of divine grace and love, in time your own emotional body will also be awakened and illumined in the above described majesty and beauty of pure love and light essence. Astral body is our energy field through the prism of which we experience and express all many varied emotions in the third and lower dimensional realities. It is one of the most important energy fields that shapes our experiences on the planet Earth. It is through this emotional body that we experience pain, pleasure, joy, love, hate, anger, envy, jealousy, resentment, guilt, etc. And we also express all these above emotions in many varied ways through it. And as we are all very aware that on planet Earth, most of us operate under the dominance of the emotional energy field. It is basis and inspiration of most of our actions. All the many varied emotions that we experience and express immediately create changes in the vibrational frequencies of the emotional body. Not only that, all the emotions that we experience throughout the day are stored in the various energy frequency vibrations in our emotional body as well. In this context, I would like to draw your attention to another factor as well, that all our emotions are energy units and have a specific vibrational frequency. Page 165. And as such, these are also stored in specific frequencies as well. It is quite interesting to know that all the various emotions that we have experienced throughout our lives also have a specific musical note, rhythm, and sound. Along with it, every emotion also has its own unique pattern of light. And the colors for each emotion can have a rainbow of various shade combinations. These patterns are much more beautiful, soothing, calming, and peaceful when we experience or express higher emotions such as loving kindness, compassion, forgiveness, gratitude, appreciation, respect, and regard for others. On the other hand, when we experience or express negative illusory emotions such as anger, hatred, jealousy, envy, betrayal, cheating, deceiving, resentfulness, and hurting someone in any way, etc. All these emotions and behavior patterns are chaotic, noisy, non-harmonious, dull, dark, and murky. All these negative emotions and behavior patterns are classed as Vishay and Vikars. all these many varied emotions that we experience and express either directly or indirectly throughout the day become part of our psyche. And in turn, sooner or later, in optimum time, create many varied personalities in our psyche. And these become part of our behavior patterns, meaning these become way of our lives. It is known as sanskara. I would like to explain that even when we have not directly experienced or expressed a feeling or an emotion ourselves, it has the same effect on our emotional field as the direct experience does. Page 166. For example, if you are watching a negative emotional event on the television screen, your body will respond to that experiences in a similar way as if it is happening to you directly. It means emotional body would think and it is your own experience and creates the same emotional energy vibrational change as if you are present in the experience. And we have already discussed that all energy fields are directly connected together and there is a constant energy and information exchange between all the energy fields. So the result is that our mental body is affected as well and all the energy chakras are stimulated and activated according to the emotion event that we have been watching or listening. And this will stimulate brain and all the regulating glands of our body. So as a result, we will experience the full-fledged effect as if it is our own life experience. This fact applies to both positive and negative events and experiences. So in this context, I would like to mention that we should be very careful regarding what programs we watch and what we are listening because all these programs affect our whole energy dynamics. And do not forget that disturbances in our energy, brain and body chemistry also drain our valuable vital energy, the pranic force, which is essential for our survival and health in all aspects, physical, emotional, mental and spiritual. Not only that, there is another very important factor that creates the event of our lives is that whatever we focus our attention on, sooner or later it is magnetized in our own lives. Page 167. It happens when critical mass meaning required energy threshold has reached. And then same or somewhat similar negative event becomes a part of our own lives. In simple words, it means that when we are watching, listening and saying or thinking something negative repeatedly and regularly, sometimes in future according to the law of focus and attraction, that becomes part of our own life experiences. And this is the law of the universe. I would like to request you that please do not think that it cannot be possible because it is happening to all of us. And know that because we are not aware of this universal law and or if we do not recognize it, it does not mean that we are exempted from it. So it is better to understand and learn the way our behavior patterns affect us rather than trying to ignore these laws. It is so that we can change and transform our lives. So, just as experiment, for few days, do not watch negative news and or emotional serial dramas and then see how much negative chatter in your mind and with friends stops immediately. And your mind becomes peaceful and you do not feel restless and agitated without any reason. So, I would like to take this opportunity to politely request that to have a happy, abundant, peaceful, relaxed and spiritual life, choose carefully what you watch or listen, think, say and or do because it has a potential of becoming part of our own life. Page 168. Our emotional energy field is very dynamic, vibrant and versatile. It can hold a very huge amount of information. The detailed information about all our experiences of this present lifetime is stored in our emotional energy field. Our emotional energy field also has in its store the energy vibrational imprints of all our emotional experiences from all the previous lifetimes as well, especially the ones that are connected with karmic issues of the present lifetime. Our emotional energy field stores all our emotions in form of layers. And as such, even in one single lifetime, we have innumerable layers of many varied types of diverse emotional vibrational frequency layers. And so, you can imagine that over innumerable lifetimes, how many layers and types of vibrational frequency layers we would have accumulated. If we say infinite numbers, it would not be exaggeration. Due to the undercurrent of painful memories of previous life or past events of this lifetime, which we have totally forgotten, we may feel saddened and depressed. So, even at the time of abundance, success, and or fame of the material world, meaning when life is going our way, we can develop a very subtle but nagging feeling as if something is very wrong. Many people express this as a fear that something terrible is going to happen, or this happiness is not going to last. The previous lifetime negative emotional memories also greatly impact our present lifetime experiences. Past negative stored energy imprint pool is one of the very important factors that make us very depressed and low. Page 169. We have all experienced that sometimes we feel very low and depressed even when there does not seem to be any apparent reason in external world. Some people feel depressed and low all their lives. They have a very pessimistic perspective and outlook on life. And this continues all their life no matter how much success, fame, happiness and abundance they received in their present lives. It is because the stored low frequency energy of negative emotions has a strong pull on our psyche. The stored negative vibrational waves act like a whirlpool that has downward movement. It is spiraling downward into much darkness, and so we have to constantly struggle to go on with our day-to-day life with a positive note. And that is why some people feel depressed throughout their lives. It is because of these lower frequency whirlpool traps that no matter what kind of relationship we have in the present lifetime, the past lifetime experiences are still connected with us as undercurrent. And many times, although we are in a positive relationship at present, some old scar and hurt becomes activated and we may find ourselves or the other person behaving in a very negative way without any apparent reason to do so. It usually means that some old painful memory has leaked through and is unconsciously directing the unwarranted behavior. Our emotional response are largely based on the past conditioning and hurts that we have brought with us as undercurrent in this lifetime. Page 170. These memories of emotional hurt and pain are stored as whirlpools of vibrations. These keep spinning in a very chaotic way. It is because the trapped lower frequency vibrations want to be free. But these are stuck due to our attachment, and that creates resistance in the discharge of these frequencies. These are some unfinished issues which have become our sanskaras as well as the karmic bondage and chains. And we cannot be free of these bondages until we make these issues finished and settled accounts. And the best way to do that is to let go of the past hurts of at least this lifetime. So forgive and forget and move on. Please honor your life because it is the most important divine asset that you have in your possession right now. So do not give anyone else power and authority to hold you prisoner in the third dimensional reality even a nanosecond longer than it is necessary. The point I'm trying to make is that even when we should be feeling good about ourselves and happy and content, we begin to feel some kind of strange emptiness. We feel vacant and incomplete even though everything is okay. But it is not really okay. There is something missing. We feel a strange kind of disconnect with life and there feels is a big gap or void inside us. And we feel as if we are sinking into a huge abyss where there is a total and complete darkness. And we feel very alone and distant from everything and all the relationship as well. This aloneness is a feeling of total loss of identity and belonging. it drags us into the deepest corner of our psyche where there is total darkness, and all the sense of being and belonging seems to vanish into this darkness of our dark inner abyss. Page 171. This is darkness of the illusory self and illusory world that we have accumulated within our deeper sacred space. It is the sacred space where we used to live as soul self in the embrace of divine. It is where we are loved and nurtured with unconditional divine love and grace. It is our eternal life source. And there is another important and interesting fact that in accordance with this whole accumulation of many varied frequencies, the patterns of light, colors, sounds, and also infinite. So we can say that we have a huge collection of large numbers of rainbow energy imprints of emotional experiences. And as we know that most of the experiences are negative, low frequencies of third dimensional illusory world which we have experienced with our illusory self. And as such, our emotional energy field is in chaos. It is operating on a very low frequency. These chaotic frequencies represent various parts which are created by refusing to live our lives by honoring our true self. These are the times when we refuse to embrace life as it was flowing in our lives in accordance with the laws of universe. These are the times when we refused and denied to live our lives with our sacred and holy presence. But instead, we suppressed and resisted life as it was appearing in the cosmic river in any given moment in our lives. Page 172. And it is only because we wanted life to be different from what it was, and did not use our soul, light, and love powers to honor life, our higher self, and the primordial life forces, but embrace the ways of illusion and practice the negative Vishay and Vikars, meaning the corrupt Mayavi illusory ways. That is what has wounded our emotional body and our psyche. And in my own experience, I have come across many people who, due to this fear, have sabotaged their current happy situations into nightmares and as such have suffered great trauma. And in this context, I would like to point out a very important fact that no matter how painful situation or an experience feels like, do not suppress it. Be open to life, even to the very painful situation. Be fully present and live every life situation with your holistic sacred presence and embrace it with your totality and enlighten it with your soul light. Learn to have trust in your true being and benevolent universe and primordial forces. Always remember that when we are faced with any painful or what seems an overwhelming situation, we should center ourselves in our higher self and surrender the whole situation in care of Divine Almighty and remind ourselves that we have been graced with divine power of capabilities to successfully overcome the situation. And not only that, in difficult and trying times, Divine Almighty personally looks after us according to our state of consciousness. It simply means all the necessary help is provided in the form that we require. Page 173. And besides that, always remember that we are always surrounded by unconditional divine grace and love. And so have trust in the benevolent cosmic forces and the great scheme of things that we are always protected by Divine Almighty. And if we surrender to divine and keep walking on the pathways of light and love, in the end, everything would work out for our highest good. Always remember that our divine eternal source, Almighty, is the absolute and ultimate benevolent power of the universe. And as we have already learned that divine loves us very much, and we all live in the heart of divine, and divine lies within our hearts. As you are also aware that even according to the holographic principle of quantum physics, the whole is in every particle. And every particle is in whole, meaning extension of the super gigantic whole. And in the great scheme of things and unconditional divine grace, we are not separate from Divine Almighty, and in fact, all the separateness is an illusion. And so we must understand that there is another very important cosmic blessing, that it is only divine who knows us in very minute detail and in true way of knowing. Since we started our journey as soul and again in the human body traveling on planet Earth, Divine Almighty has been with us every moment of our lives. Divine knows all the different ways that we have experienced and expressed ourselves throughout our journey. And Divine Almighty is also aware of all our weaknesses and strong points, and also knows how we are going to respond in any particular situation. Page 174. An unconditional divine grace is new in each moment and flows in our lives according to our changing state of consciousness. Knowing all that, we must always have courage to look at every life situation with open mind and heart. Always remember that if there is a painful situation and or any kind of emotional trauma is making room on the stage of your life, it is some unfinished issue from the past which we have refused to live with our soul, light and love at that time. But now it is resurfacing again. It means our own higher self is bringing it into our awareness so that we can embrace this painful emotion in our soul, love and light, and embrace it in our wholeness and give it our soul, light and love. It is so the parts of our psyche which have become entangled with the illusory forces can be healed, and it is so that with divine grace we can become free from it forever and move toward reclaiming our wholeness and true beingness, and embark on our journey into the higher dimension of light. And so we become free from the third dimensional illusory forces. Always remember that journey of awakening and enlightenment is also a journey of healing life, meaning every aspect of our lives. We cannot be freed from the third dimensional reality without being healed emotionally. And you will be surprised to know that all of us have many wounded layers in our emotional energy field. All the information of our pain and hurt and wound is stored in form of energy frequency layers. Page 175. And even in one lifetime, we accumulate many layers of wounded energy fields. And so you can imagine that over our innumerable previous lives, how much accumulation we would have done in our emotional field repository. So what we need to understand now is that all our wounded, unhealed parts, meaning the parts which are fully immersed in the dark abyss of Maya world, need to be healed. So now we have to let these unhealed and wounded parts that are occupying our sacred space to be embraced into our soul, light and love. We have to embrace these parts with loving kindness into our soul, light and love so these can be healed, so that we can become whole and holy, meaning pure love essence beams of light and love. When we invite divine in our hearts and lives and begin to walk on the pathways of light and love, with the help of divine grace and love, our energy dynamics is transformed. And our emotional body also begins to vibrate on the higher frequencies. And as such, all the coarse negative energy particle and vibrations begin to spin off from our energy field. And gradually, all our negative baggage is sorted out and dissipated and dispersed by the beings of light. Those are helping us in the process of transformation. And slowly, our karmic burdens begin leave to our energy fields and stage of our lives. And as a result, our emotional energy field begins to operate on pure higher frequencies in alignment with our soul, light and love. And we begin to enlighten by divine grace. Page 176. And the beings of light and love from various dimensions that are attached with us begin to infuse our energy field with higher frequencies of light and love. And with divine grace and blessings, our energy fields begin to align with our soul, love and light. And as a result, we gradually begin to live as unified beings of light and love. And in this state of higher consciousness, we are totally healed in all aspects of our lives. And all our past wounds and memories of all the suffering and pain are healed with unconditional divine grace and love, and we regain our sacred wholeness. We are all aware that now we have reached the end times, and the final call from universe and our soul self has already made its way in our awareness. And so it is time of awakening from the deep coma of Maya worlds. The returning wave has already landed in front of our human land and is knocking our doors. So it is waking up time, and I know most of friends are following the pathways of light and love and want to become the true being that we are. May divine love and blessings be with you.
Page 177, Chapter 13. Alignment of casual body energy field with soul, light and love is essential for awakening and enlightenment. As we are already aware that in our human energy makeup we have few energy fields. All these energy fields have to be aligned with our soul energy field for us to become a wholesome being of light and love. One of the most important energy fields happens to be our casual energy field. We need to understand the importance of our casual energy field for our human journey. We can understand our casual body as the most fundamental requirement which is necessary for the augmentation of our journey on the planet Earth. First of all, we need to remind ourselves that while experiencing our journey on planet Earth, which is third dimensional reality, that these worlds operate under the law of cause and effect. This is commonly known as law of karma. We can simply understand this fact that our lives, meaning all that we do and happens to us, is guided and directed by this cosmic law of karma, cause and effect. This law of cause and effect is the game plan that has been originated under the grand cosmic plan. We need to understand and remind ourselves that in great scheme of things in this third dimension where we are experiencing our lives at present, we have been given a gift of grace called free will. Page 178. In this gift of free will, we have been given a freedom to choose the pathways of our own lives. We have a choice to decide whether we want to follow the illusory ways of life and live under the guidance of our illusory self. Or we can choose to live our lives as our higher selves and choose pathways of divine light and love. When we follow the illusory ways and behave as if illusory self and life out there is our true reality, we automatically come under the law of karma of the third dimensional reality. And in accordance with laws of karma, meaning cause and effect, we are riding the wheel of life and death, the karmic cycle. It means we have to keep coming to, meaning reincarnating in the third dimensional reality in an acquired human body in accordance of our actions, meaning karma. It means whatever we do in this world, we would have to bear the consequences of our actions. Our actions are the cause and consequences are effects of those actions. And as such, we as a soul in each incarnation on planet Earth acquire a new body, new role, new relationships and new set of circumstances to work out our previous karma. In the great scheme of things and cosmic plan, in our human body, we have been given an energy field which is known as casual body. We can call it karmic body. This unique energy field of very high frequency vibrations is very specifically designed for carrying the various energy patterns generated by our lifestyle. It is a kind of cosmic recorder. Page 179. It records every thought, feeling and action. And even the actions only done in thought but never carried out are also registered in the casual energy field. And all this happens in the very instant as a thought, feeling or action is generated. So, we can say that it carries all our memories of previous lives and present life, including all the various attitudes, beliefs, values, ideas, desires, whatever we did or wanted to do, etc. So, it is in fact our memory bank. And this bank is the governor of our lives. It is very live, vibrant, active, and versatile divine energy system. No one can hide from it, and at the same time, we cannot enter any wrong information in it. Whatever is stored in this cosmic bank is truth of our lives. With this cosmic bank, we cannot argue and say you got it wrong, because it not only holds the memory in the energy form, but also all the associated sounds, pictures, and emotions are recorded as a live recording. First of all, after leaving the physical body at the time of death, when we enter into the astral plane, we are asked how did we spend our lives on planet Earth. And in that very instant, we become consciously aware of all the things that we did wrong. Not only that, all the memories flash back instantaneously in our mind's eye. So, the question of doubt never ever arises anyway. But suppose it did, the entire live real movie is in recording. Not only that, it is very interactive as well. We are shown what we did and what were we thinking or feeling at that time. Not only that, we can also see how our actions, thoughts, etc. affected the recipient. The point we must remember is that we may pretend and project ourselves different from what we are. We may even hide from our own self as well. But remember, we cannot hide anything from the cosmic force. Page 180. That is why law of karma is very just, very fair. This law is so perfect that there are no mistakes made. And not only that, there is not even a remotest possibility ever of any error to occur. So, it is very watertight and airtight. Remember, there are no exceptions or favors, meaning it applies equally to all and there is no escape from it. So, we must always remember that whatever we do to anyone, in fact, we do to ourselves because it always comes back to us. So we must remember that whatever is happening to us is not an accident or mistake or someone else's doing. It is something that we have done knowingly or unknowingly, and now it is time to reap the effect of the seeds we have sown in the past. Our casual body has got all the seeds that we have created in the past. And at right time, when harvest is ready, it makes way into our lives. Everything is energy and operates on certain specific frequency. So remember that all our thought, emotions and actions generate certain specific frequency vibrations. All these in right time become the seeds for our future events. So we can say our casual energy field is a storehouse of all we do, think, feel or do and see or hear. All that energy, all that energy created by these becomes seeds. And our casual energy field has the entire accumulation of all the negative and positive seeds that we have generated over many lifetimes. Page 181. In that way, we can say that our casual body is the most important energy field which carries all our past, present and future in energy form. Just think how amazing, majestic and wonderful the game plan of the cosmos is. At every moment in time, we within our own casual energy field hold all the energy imprints of our past, present and future events. And that is why it is said that our present life is the most precious gift that we have in our hands. And we have the power to transcend the illusory self and connect to our true being and eternal belonging. This is a gift of the unconditional love and grace of pure divine love consciousness. There is another very interesting fact related with it, that by linking and entering into our casual energy field, we can visit our past and future lifetime records. And as such, we can gain some deeper insight as to why we are experiencing some specific event in our present lives. So, we can remove the root cause of our present day life scenario. The most important benefit of tuning and entering into our casual landscape is that we can develop some higher understanding of the great scheme of things and grand cosmic plan of our life in connection with the higher and true purpose of our lives. We can understand that our lives as we are living now are only make-believe situations or state of third dimensional consciousness that has been created by the illusory forces. And the I that we are so fused with that firmly and totally believe that it is our true identity is only a make-believe reality that we have adopted under the hypnotic trance of illusory forces. Page 182. This great insight and understanding of the reality of third dimensional life experiences is must on the pathways of light and love. That is, if we want to connect with our true beingness and true belonging with Supreme Eternal Essence. We really need to understand that if this insight is not part of our understanding, then we will never be able to cross the threshold of illusory forces, and illusory self will forever be a dominant reality of our lives. I would like to make one point very clear, that this is not by any means a suggestion that we all need to know our past lives and become obsessed about it. No, not at all. On the contrary, we have to let go of all our attachment with it and surrender all that to the source, so that it can disperse and dissipate all these energy frequencies from our lives and energy dynamics and lift us out of this woodland of third dimensional reality into higher dimensions of pure light and love. All we have to know that under the hypnotic trance, we have created a huge store of karmic seeds, and these would keep us bound to the illusory third dimensional reality. And the only way out is that we grasp the reality and let go our fascination with the illusory self and ways of life. The great scheme of things and grand plan of the universe, whatever happens in our lives, in its heart contains high frequency energy of divine unconditional love and grace. And all our life events are so designed and designated that if we live our lives by honoring our true self and in reverence to eternal supreme source essence, we can transcend the illusory forces in our present life. We don't have to wait for many lifetimes. Page 183. Now and here is the divine opportunity and grace to take us out of this third dimensional illusory reality. Remember, due to unconditional divine love and grace in the great scheme of things, all that exists is trying to make its way towards the source essence. And as far we are concerned, we have a very special and important place in the heart of divine and in the great scheme of things. And the whole universe, that is, many divine forces, are always trying to bring harmony in all aspects of our lives. And these are trying to uplift us out of the third dimensional reality of restrictions, limitations, pain, and suffering. Remember, all the emptiness, pain, and suffering in our lives is only due to the fact that we do not understand and honor our own role in life and in the great scheme of things and grand plan of the universe. We are not living our lives by honoring our own eternal truth. We are living our lives on very low frequencies of the third dimensional reality. We all know that our lives are directed by the illusory forces. These illusory forces operate on the basis of greed, attachment, anger, lust, and ahankar. Ahankar means I,
me and mine, the vanity and false pride, meaning I am the most important one and everyone should honor me and their life should revolve around me, etc. This self centered, selfish, illusory way of life dictates our behavior, and that is why we have so much pain and suffering. The point we have to understand is that our whole human energy dynamics has a potential of operating with very pure level of light and love consciousness frequencies. It is already ingrained and programmed in our DNA. Page 184. Our physical body DNA also holds the imprints of our higher destiny. In our soul DNA as well, we have the divine imprint of our higher destiny. And by following the pathways of soul and divine light and love, we can reactivate and also transform our human DNA into higher frequencies. So we can become a wholesome and fully awakened beings of pure love consciousness. Over many lifetimes, we have lived under the hypnotic trance of the illusory self and the illusory world, and that is why our casual body has become such a huge and vast storehouse of the illusory third dimensional lower frequencies. In simple words, we can say that all the seeds that have accumulated are part of the third dimensional world. So the result is that due to karmic law, we are tied to the wheel of birth and death because we have accumulated all the junk and rubbish from the third dimensional planet Earth. And so we have to bear the consequences and discharge and dissipate the accumulated lower frequencies on the planet Earth or any other lower frequency realm. What we need to understand is that our casual body has the potential of operating from very high pure light frequencies. So, the point I am trying to make is that by transforming our attitude and walking on the pathways of light and love, our casual energy field can regain its purity and high frequency vibrations. And it simply means we can be completely free from all the negative frequencies. All these negative frequencies include all our past karma and negative attitudes, attributes, beliefs, and values, etc., that we have accumulated in the third world journey as human beings. Page 185. We need to understand that this is greatest gift of unconditional love and grace that we have in our lives. This gift of divine grace and love has been given to us so that one day when we decide to seek and integrate our true reality as our soul self, we will be easily able to do so because necessary divine energy frequencies are already in place. As we are already aware that it is our ultimate destiny that one day we will transcend the third dimensional reality and will make our way back to our true abode. And we would wake up to our true being and true belonging. And in accordance with the great scheme of things and grand plan of the primordial essence, everything meaning all the groundwork, help and support is already laid out in great detail. All the beings of light and love and the forces of cosmic hierarchy are waiting for our call. And as soon as we intend to do so and make a firm decision to seek our eternal truth and belonging, all the forces of universal awakening and enlightening team will swiftly move in and provide all the necessary help and support according to our state of consciousness. It is so that every one of us gets necessary individual help and support. There will be beings of light linked with us who work in team, and these have various expertises in energy work that is necessary and needed for our awakening. Page 186. This energy work is very subtle, intricate and complex for us to understand, but we can simply get some idea about it just to appreciate the grace of divine and these beings of light and love.
Not only that, it will also make our life interesting to have some idea of the majesty of Divine Almighty and our vastness as soul as well. So, I am only just giving you a kind of outline of the process just to have a little understanding of this great process of our transformation from the illusory self to divine entity. We can say that there are many different kinds of energy vibration frequency works required for our awakening and reconnecting to our eternal self. And some of this work involves working with our stored negative frequencies. And there are many proficient, talented beings of light and love who mainly work on our casual energy field. These beings of light and love dissipate and disperse many varied types of negative frequencies of the third dimensional world. It is because over many lifetimes we have accumulated many variable myriads of negative frequencies through our unique way of experiencing and expressing our individuality in the third dimension of the universe that we live in. And as such, the various seeds that our casual body holds have many varied combinations of these different frequency vibrations. We can say that all of us have lived a very interesting life in this third dimension of limitedness and separateness from our original beingness and belonging. And as such, the result, although very negative and limiting, nevertheless has been very interesting. Page 187. Once we become connected to our true being and belonging, we would understand and know that we have explored the limitedness and separateness from the source quite in depth. In fact, where we stand at present on our journey of limitedness, we have come as far as possible. We have also drifted away from our source's center as far as possible, and now it is mandatory that we make our way back to the source. Once moved so far away from the source, there is always a returning back time. And in the great scheme of things, the returning home energy wave of divine light and love has already begun to rise up and turn the direction towards the eternal source. And those of our friends journeying on planet Earth are willing to go back to their eternal home can join and ride on this returning divine wave. And we must remember that many of these beings of light from various dimensions of light and love, various star systems, and different universes are here to help us in riding this returning wave. But we need to understand that on this ride, we cannot take any baggage of the third dimensional reality. It means whatever we have accumulated as me and mine in any shape or form has to be surrendered to the divine source. So these beings of light and love can remove all the unnecessary baggage from our casual body, energy field, and also from the casual dimensions. The casual dimension is connected with our casual body, and all the baggage that we have accumulated over many lifetimes is also stored in this dimension. It is the land where all the karmic baggage is kept and sorted out. Page 188. Casual body carries all the baggage in very, very subtle form, but on the casual dimension it is being sorted out, harvested, and when the fruit of our karma is ready, according to our state of consciousness, it slowly becomes part of our lives in form of various events. All you need to remember is that when we surrender ourselves to the pure source essence and begin to walk on the pathways of light and love, the beings of light and love will begin to clear the various karmic records from our casual body. And at the same time, they will also begin to work on our landscape in the casual dimension as well. These both types of operations happen side by side and simultaneously. We do not need to be overly concerned about it. It is because we do not need to know or understand all these things in details. Just know that we will be freed of all the stores of karmic seeds and harvest. We can simply understand that in our casual energy field, there are innumerable layers of stored information of our many lifetime experiences. The topmost meaning, the superficial most strata contains all the karmic harvest energy imprint records which we have to sort out in the present lifetime. Also, along with this, it also harbors the various attitudes, attributes, and beliefs through which we have drawn those conclusions. Simply, it means that all the events for the present lifetime experiences are stored in the energy form in the topmost strata of the causal body. It means that our attitude tendencies from the past are with us in the present life. This is what is commonly known as predetermined destiny. In Indian scripture, it is known as prarabdha karma. It also means the predetermined destiny. Page 189. In the context of predetermined destiny concept, I would like to point out that our destiny is not set in stone, that we would have to go through it no matter what we do. It is not so. First of all, in the great scheme of things, the basis of all events and experiences is pure energy. And the energy is still in somewhat fluid state and works like a stream that is forever flowing. So if we live our lives by honoring our true being and in reverence and surrender to divine essence, we can transform our present lives as well and enter into a higher dimension of experiencing life which is beyond the game of karma. It is the inherent law of primordial forces. And so, remember that the most important factor is that the whole universe is an expression of divine love and grace. And as such, all that is created is experiencing its existence in the ocean of unconditional divine love and grace. No one is out of divine love and grace even for a nanosecond. On the same token, we are all loved by divine and are experiencing all our lives under the unconditional grace of divine. And as such, in the great scheme of things, we have been graced with the blessing that we can change our destiny anytime we decide to wake up from our illusory sleep and hypnotic trance. So we need to understand that, in fact, law of karma is not about punishment of what we did wrong, but it is about the realization and correction of something that we did wrong under the illusory forces and self. That is what is known as awakening. So each new birth on planet Earth, in fact, a second chance and a new divine opportunity to make amends to what went wrong once due to our ignorance. Page 190. So it is about complete and total metamorphisms of our illusory ways of life rather than a punishment strategy. So remember that all the happenings and events of our lives hold a divine gift of grace in their center, which is necessary for our transformation. It is a plan of divine love in action. And the plan of divine love in action ensures that in each new lifetime on planet Earth, along with karmic imprints, we also have the divine grace in our energy makeup. And so, before we embark on the journey in human body, meaning in each new incarnation, we are given some higher frequencies of unconditional divine grace. And at the same time, we are also given necessary higher special powers so that we can easily discharge our karma with our soul light and love. It means we are bestowed with the qualities to override the illusory self and the negative attitudes and tendencies. But we usually ignore this fact and never ever connect to the powers bestowed on us by divine love and grace. That is why we keep repeating the same old story and so keep drifting away from our divine truth and reality. That is why we living under the grips of ego and illusory forces are running our lives and as such deciding and dictating our destiny. Simply we can understand that in fact we are not living out our soul destiny as designed by divine primordial forces in the great scheme of things and grand plan. But instead, we are living and experiencing an ongoing illusory third dimensional reality as imposed upon us by forces of Maya due to our ignorance and illusory sleep. Page 191. We just need to understand that
till we keep playing the karmic game of third dimensional reality, our casual body will act as the storehouse and the carrier of our destiny energy frequencies. So, simply we can say that our casual body remains with us throughout the journey of the third dimension and below that. It simply means that until then we will be under the laws of cause and effect. So, we should always remember that the casual body is the basis and carrier of our ego. But we should not forget that we are responsible for whatever is happening to us, because casual body only stores and carries the baggage of our own doing. It has no power of its own to create anything for us all by itself. We can say it is our helper, supporter, and acts as a vehicle for our carrier of our own frequencies. So, in a way, we should be grateful to it for its cooperation and partnership in living out the way we wish to live our lives. It is because, after all, it is our own choice whether we follow our divinity and true beingness and have an alive and vibrant relationship with our supreme divine source, or we follow the ways of illusory self and illusory world reality as our own reality and truth. So, if you want to change and transform your destiny and live a life filled with divine love and blessing, then let go of attachment and connection to illusory self and external illusory world reality and choose divine and soul light and love. We must remember that letting go of the illusory self and ways is of paramount importance in the realization of our true beingness and eternal belonging. Page 192. And know that the awakening is the process of dissolution of the ego, the illusory self. It is because we do not need ego on the higher dimensions of light and love. So, it has to be dissipated as we walk on the path of awakening and enlightenment. If our casual body holds the storehouse of all the seeds, tendencies, beliefs, values, etc., we would not be free of the chains that bind us into third dimensional reality. That is why whole storehouse of the casual body has to be dissipated, sorted, and worked upon by these beings of light and love. On the path of awakening, we go through many divine initiations. Now, I want to make it clear that I am not talking about the initiations that people get in the external world. It is about the initiation that we get from the higher beings of light and love and or from a member of spiritual hierarchy. It is also possible that you may even never see them or become aware of them as initiating you into higher state of consciousness. But know that it happens as sacred process and as a gift of divine grace. I can tell you from many of my experiences that I have seen many people who are walking on the pathways of light and love being initiated in the higher realms, but they are not aware of this fact. So, you need not worry about it or wait for it, because all this happens by itself. But it is far sure that you would be aware of ever-changing, transforming state of your consciousness, how you feel, think and behave, and how your outlook has transformed, how you have become aware of many depths of life in comparison to as you used to know and understand before walking on the pathways of light and love. Page 193. In short, when we choose divine and soul love and light, our casual body begins to evolve. It is infused with higher frequencies of light and love. These higher frequencies increase the spin of the dense, lower frequency particles of the casual body. So, by this increase in the spin speed and plus purifying effect of the higher frequencies of light and love, the stored negative particles begin to dissipate and disperse into the great sea of nothingness, where these cannot reattach to our energy field or harm anyone else. It is very lengthy and intricate process, but all we need to understand that layer by layer the dissipation and purification process continues for our entire lifetime.
Slowly, our casual body begins to become clear and free of the burden and baggage of karma and negative tendencies, attributes, and attitudes. And for the cleansing process, divine associates and co workers from higher dimensions begin to infuse very high frequency energy rays into our casual body. And as such, our casual body begins to regain its original divine energy makeup. Its patterns of light, colors, and sound patterns and geometry begin to become of much higher frequencies. So, our casual body becomes much more illuminated and begins to radiate light. The result of this intricate and complex process is that our mental and emotional body also begins to be transformed and infused with higher frequencies of light and love. It is because all the energy fields are interconnected and there is a constant exchange of information and as well as the energy frequencies among all other energy fields. And there is also another factor that when we begin to follow the pathways of light and love, all the other energy fields are also transformed with higher frequencies in similar fashion as already explained above in context of the casual body. Page 194. So, as a result, we begin to become much clearer in our understanding. And at the same time, our negative emotions also begin to be dispersed and dissipated. So it becomes easier for us to hold on to higher thoughts and emotions of loving kindness towards all. In general, it becomes easier for us to walk on the pathways of light and love. And as such, it becomes a lot easier for us to reconnect to our soul self and divine source. It is because higher energy frequencies of light and love weave a communication bridge of pure light and love. And as such, a strong, pure vibratory link becomes established between us and the angels, our soul selves, and divine itself. So gradually, our soul light and love begins to radiate through our aura. And at the same time, our behavior also begin to mirror our increasing link with our own soul self and our intimate relationship with divine source. As we slowly begin to progress on the pathways of light and love, we go through many initiations on the inner higher realms of our multi-dimensional beingness. It simply means we are being freed and purified of our third dimensional baggage. It means we are gradually gaining freedom from the illusory forces. So slowly, our illusory self begins to leave our energy field, and as such, we gradually begin to re-establish in our greater and true eternal authentic self. Page 195. So the stage is set in accordance to the great scheme of things, and we are ready to move on to the higher dimensional realities. It means that in time we will be totally free from the wheel of birth and death and illusory effect of the third and lower dimensional realities. And we will be totally and completely re-established in our own greater truth and true belonging. It means we would become totally centered in our true eternal beingness and belonging. And at this stage in the process of awakening and enlightenment, our casual body would have already played its role as inherent, intended, and allocated by the primordial forces. And in accordance with the great scheme of things, we would be totally free from the casual body. And we will also be free from the all other energy fields that we were given to experience the third dimensional or lower realities. It is because their divine role have been fulfilled and accomplished, so these can also go back to the source. And then, along with the casual energy field, all other energy fields will also first dissolve back in the primal energy field of Akash. Akash is the primal field from where all the elements come into being. And after serving their role in the great scheme of things in the final stage of dissolution of all these will go back to the original Maha Akash source. It is so that they become one with it and be in peace with the center of their own beingness and their eternal belonging.
Remember, eternal belonging for all the forces and particles of the infinite universes is same as our own meaning, the eternal divine source, pure consciousness, love, essence. And this is unprecedented time of great divine celebration for the primordial forces as well as each and every particle that attains its original beingness and belongings and becomes immersed and one with the eternal source. Page 196. There are no words to explain this great majestic celebration of joyous and blissful cosmic event of the universe. But all I can say that in the great scheme of things and cosmic plan, we are all destined to receive that unconditional great love, grace and honor. All we need to do is to decide and move on to the pathways of light and love and take that important step towards our original belonging and primordial destiny. Be confident and trust the universe. Have faith and trust in primordial forces and your own true belonging, the supreme eternal essence, that all what is needed for our enlightenment would be provided and taken care of in accordance with the great scheme of things and unconditional love and grace. And you would be amazed with the gifts that you will receive on the pathways of light and love. It is a very amazing, majestic journey. This journey is really awe-inspiring and filled with oceans of true divine love and joy. What you will receive on this awesome journey cannot be understood or imagined in the present state of illusory consciousness. But the great blessings that I have received for many years on ongoing basis, I can tell you from the center of my being that give it a try. And I assure you that you would not be disappointed, but on the contrary, you would think, I wish I would have known all that long time ago. Your life will be filled with true bliss, ecstasy, joy, love, and abundance in all aspects. May divine love, grace, and blessings be with you always.
Page 197. Alignment of mental body energy field with soul light and love is essential for awakening and enlightenment. We are multi-dimensional beings of light and love. We are traveling in the third dimensional world of lower frequencies. This dimension is far away from our center of the Creator Source's essence. What we need to remember is that we are only visitors, meaning travelers here, and have come to this dimension of darkness for some specific purpose. To understand the great plan and divine purpose of our lives, we need to remind ourselves of some basic cosmic principles of the universe and our true beingness. We need to understand and remind ourselves that before we landed here on planet Earth, we were experiencing our beingness in embrace of true belonging, the eternal divine source center. Our lives were unfolding and blossoming in our true eternal abode. We are souls and have been manifested by Almighty, the creator and sustainer of all that exists. And in accordance with divine will, we came down in this lower dimensional reality. What we need to understand is that we as soul are divine children. And in our ancient original self, we are very vast and fully awakened, enlightened beings of light and love. Page 198. And as such, it would not have been possible for us to experience life on the planet Earth or any other lower frequency dimensions of the universe. So Divine provided us with a very special equipment, human body. This has been specially designed for the realization of our divine purpose on the planet Earth. This divine human equipment has been specially designed with divine space Akash in our heart temple, and in this space we as a soul live in the divine embrace. So it is also a divine vehicle for our soul self and divine Almighty itself. We can understand this divine human equipment as something like an astronaut wearing a spacesuit to travel in the spaceship and space, or as a diver wearing a diving suit to adventure in many depths of ocean. In similar fashion, we have been given a human body. A human body is a magnificent creation of divine and is fully equipped with all the necessary tools and gears that we require to experience our lives on the planet Earth. And these are various energy fields that constitute the human body. As we have already mentioned that these energy fields are from outside in physical body, emotional body, casual body, mental body, etheric body, and spiritual body. In this chapter, we are trying to understand the role and importance of our mental body energy field in our awakening and becoming a being of light and love. It is very necessary to do so because to become enlightened, that is, embracing the divine light, we have to understand the fact that what is keeping us tied to the third dimensional reality. Page 199. And how can we cross the threshold of the third dimensional reality and return back to the divine center? And it is our eternal source, and in that center is our true eternal home where we have come from. And it is our divine purpose to return home. We also need to remind ourselves that our divine destiny is ingrained and written in our soul DNA. And it is also written deep down in our hearts where we reside as soul in the embrace of our eternal belonging. Our soul DNA not only holds the secrets of our our soul DNA not only holds the secret of our divine destiny, but also holds the necessary miraculous powers and unconditional divine grace and love to realize our true and eternal destiny. Now let us understand our mental energy field that makes a very important contribution in experiencing the limitation and separatedness created by the illusory self and the forces. It is because, as you already know, that we as soul self, meaning in our true being, are so vast, all-knowing, and a being of light and love. And so, in the plan of great scheme of things, to experience the limitedness and separateness from our divine creator, we are using the mental body. Our mental energy field creates the illusion of forgetfulness from our true beingness and true belonging. And we have all experienced that how powerful is that amnesia. And this illusion and false beliefs stop us from following our greater reality and truth as divine children of pure light and love. Page 200. That is why we are all finding it so difficult to accept our true reality. And it has become tremendously difficult to believe that we are living under the dominances of our illusory self and the illusory forces. We all strongly believe that our physical body and the external world is our true reality. Our mental energy field not only creates an illusion that we are separate from the divine source, but we are also separate from all the other beings, meaning our fellow men and rest of the various life forms that exist in the universe. Not only that, in our inner world of psyche, we have developed many separate selves. We have developed many personality selves. It is because we have developed so many different values and beliefs regarding many roles that we play in life. We can understand it this way that in every aspect of our lives, we come across many people, and according to our mindsets and learned values, we treat each and every individual with a different state of consciousness. And we already have experienced that huge difference in our attitude and behavior towards many people we interact with. These different ways of behavior patterns are due to our conditioned mind that we have learned from the external world and adopted as our own truth. Sometimes we should sit down in solitude and silence and look at various behavior patterns and think which of the patterns, attitudes, and behavior represents true me and my true nature. Page 201. I would request you to do this favor to yourself if you really care about yourself and love yourself as your true being. I do not mean the illusory selfish love, but divine love and soul love, which is the eternal pure love essence. And it is beyond any concepts and experiences of emotional selfish love of the third dimensional love. I would like to request that for few minutes Put your ego self aside, give it a bit of rest. In fact, it is more like giving yourself freedom to be your true self. It is because it helps us to enter deep into our mind and inner space to see and recognize the true nature of various personalities that we are harboring under the dominance of the illusory forces. Now take few deep breaths because it calms the overactive mind and helps to relax and center yourself. Look at yourself with the senses of your true being. It is because if you will be honest with yourself and really look at yourself deeply, you would see the pretended life that you are living. You will be able to see and recognize that how many and what kind of personalities that you are using in various aspects of your life. To do this exercise, we need to understand that this is not a journey of judgment or justifying yourself. And by doing so, either feeling guilty that you are doing it all wrong, and or justifying your various patterns of mindsets and behaviors by thinking that it is only natural to do so. And you are only doing what is required of you in these various aspects. This is an inward journey, and it is about coming face to face with your own hidden issues and agendas that are blocking your way to your union with true beingness and belonging. Page 202. So please understand that no judgment or justification is required. Just awakening, meaning being aware, is mandatory, and because that is what serves a great purpose in our life. We need to understand that seeing everything with soul senses means seeing the truth, acknowledging it, and accepting it. And the next step is to take step for moving beyond where we stand at any given moment in our lives. It is a simple way of understanding your state of consciousness and recognizing that you are living under the illusory self and forces, and now it is time to move on. It is because now with divine grace you have become aware of the situation, that is your state of consciousness as it is now. And the soul awareness means and calls for let go of what is not helping us to cross the threshold of illusion. If you really do this exercise with total honesty and sincerity, you would be able to see that where you are not honoring your true being in your everyday life, but instead your illusory self is directing and organizing your life. It is dictating your various personalities as to how to behave with different people in your life. And always remember that ego ways are under the forces of Maya, the illusion. And these are directed by three powers which are also called as gunas, meaning ways or attribute. And these are tamasic, rajasic and sattvic. These establish the patterns of our illusory tendencies and as such the various ways we behave with different people and in situations. Page 203. This is what is usually referred to as our psyche. As a result of hypnotic trance of the Mayavi gunas at this point in our journey on planet Earth, we have become totally immersed in the ocean of the darkness of the illusory world. And as such, our ways of experiencing life has become so negative. Forgive me for saying that, but in fact, kind of evil, that we are not only hurting and causing lot of pain and suffering to others, but also greatly damaging our own self as well. Not only that, this darkness is distancing us even further away from our source and true beingness. And as such, we are going to go down even further in our illusory negative evil ways than before. And you can easily imagine that as a result, what kind of experiences we would create for ourselves and the collective consciousness of the world in general. But the very important point is that the truth of primordial plan and unconditional grace is that we can escape all the torment and illusory ways of life. And as I have said before, that the returning back home wave of unconditional love and grace is already here. And all you have to do is invite and receive that divine grace and free yourself from the illusory dominance and fill your life with eternal joy, bliss and ecstasy. So let us see and understand in detail how our mental field is keeping us prisoner in the illusory third dimensional reality, so we can transform and evolve our mental body to higher pure love and light frequencies. Page 204. So it can become our ally in attaining the state of consciousness of total awakening, so that we can remove all the obstructions created by the misuse of the mental energy field and claim our true beingness and eternal belonging. First of all, we need to understand that our mental energy field is made up of very fine and higher frequency vibrations. These energy waves and particles are spinning and pulsating on a very high frequency. Our mental energy field is linked with all our energy fields, including emotional, casual, and etheric, and our physical body. Just a little reminder that our physical body is also an energy field, but it feels much more solid and tangible because the energy vibrations are much denser and are also vibrating at a slower frequency rate in comparison with other energy fields. Our mental field is also connected with all our chakras and affects all our energy makeup through various chakras as well as energy bodies. It is also interlinked with our soul body through the etheric body. We can understand our energy system as one holistic system comprising of various energy fields. And all the chakras, energy fields are linked together and influence each other. There is a constant energy and information exchange between all the layers of energy fields. Our mental energy field is a very vibrant, highly active and versatile. It is capable of operating on a huge scale and variety of frequencies. It has the capacity to function with a vast cosmic rainbow of variable frequencies. Page 205. We can say it is like a cosmic prism and reflects and projects various colors of the white cosmic rays of pure love frequencies. So we can compare it somewhat with a rainbow in our physical world, reflecting various frequencies of white light varying from red color to violet. But our mental body rainbow is much more powerful and versatile. And as such, it has much more wider and huge panorama of cosmic light colors. We can literally say that it is a very powerful, majestic and splendid prism. And it can project and reflect infinite colors and frequencies. And some of these colors and frequencies are so fine and subtle that cannot be seen with the most powerful equipment of the physical world. Our mental energy field cosmic rainbow includes from very low negative frequencies to very pure and higher frequencies of love and light. It embraces some higher dimensions of consciousness, such the mental dimension to third and lower frequency dimensions of darkness. Our mental energy field is represented by our left brain in our body. It is what psychologists call as conscious mind. So you can say that our conscious mind directs and designates our lives through our left brain. What we need to understand is that although our mental energy field is capable of operating at various pure and higher frequencies, but we are only using it for very low frequencies of the third dimensional reality. Page 206. At present, our mental body is operating in tune with the illusory self and the illusory worlds. And so, due to our ignorance, we have set up the prism of our mental energy field on very low negative frequencies. And so, this mental body prism has become murky, cloudy, and dark with numerous black patches. And as such, the rainbow of our mental energy field has also become distorted, patchy, and dark. And there is another important fact we need to understand, that lower frequencies have a stronger magnetic pull. And these create many hooks and loops through which we become connected to the negative lower frequencies of people around us and also to the collective sea of illusory frequencies. And that is why are also pulled down into the game of illusion by the collective consciousness. That is why the various light patterns and subtle sound currents that have become the energy makeup of our mental field itself are holding us back, strongly anchored into the illusory world. It is holding the various beliefs, values, and tendencies tightly in place by its lower vibrational frequencies. We have learnt all the values and beliefs either in the childhood, in this lifetime, or we have brought some of these with us from the other lifetimes. These have been carried as the tendencies or as beliefs and values as the essence of all the learning that we have done in our previous lives. These are all ingrained in our mental energy field in very subtle vibratory frequency format. These are also part of the makeup of our causal energy field. Page 207. Due to all these negative low frequencies of illusory beliefs, our mental body has become very dense and it is operating on a very low frequency. All these negative low frequency patterns, patches, and waves are also putting a lot of unnecessary burden on our mental energy field along with all other energy fields. So our energy field has become frozen in the past learning and karmic depth. And as a result of these multiple energy working mechanism and behavior factors, the pattern of light and geometric stratum of our mental energy field is in a chaos. The dance of the mental energy field frequencies has become very arrhythmic and chaotic. Our mental energy field is now in a destructive dance mode and arrhythmic patterns. And knowing all that, you can clearly understand that how we have negatively impacted our mental energy field and how much damage we have caused to our mental energy field over innumerable past lives that we have lived under the illusory self and forces. Now the result is that the higher pure harmonics of our mental energy field have transgressed into very low frequency chaotic destructive patterns of darkness of the illusory forces and realms. These frequencies have a mesmerizing effect and as such traps us into the illusory ways of life. These lower frequencies by nature are very sticky. We can compare these with a very strong glue of our physical world. And when we think this external world as our physical identity and reality, the glue of illusory forces becomes attached to us and in turn we also become attached and bonded with it. Page 208. And it is all due to the glue effect of the illusory world. Now think it this way, in the similar ways the illusory forces create strong bonds. The bond is so strong and mesmerizing as well as attractive and charming that we begin to identify with the all that we have. And that is why we become attached to whatever we gain in this world and begin to own it as me and mine. That is why at present we are trapped into the vicious cycle of our own making. And we are so deep into it that we are constantly repeating the very same patterns of negative illusory behavior and ways that trapped us into the illusory world in the first place. It only makes the bondage strong and keeps us chained in the prison of the illusory world. We need to understand that we cannot keep repeating the same old patterns of behavior and break free from the vicious cycle. We have to follow a new and higher pathway of life that will break the trap that we are caught in, and at the same time lift us out of this trap and free us from the dark ocean of the illusory third dimensional and lower realities where we have become totally stuck. We need to understand, acknowledge and accept that it is mainly due to our own ignorance that we are identifying with our physical body and the external world. And that is why we have totally and truly accepted it as our true reality. We need to understand the third dimension and lower dimensions are vibrating on very low frequencies. Page 209. And these lower frequencies create a state of consciousness of illusion. So, Now it is our responsibility to do something to awaken from this trance of the illusory world and illusory self. We need to clearly understand and grasp the fact that there is no other way out of this trap of the third dimensional reality except to take necessary steps to awaken from this illusory sleep. And it involves making a firm decision to connect to our true being and true belonging, the Almighty, the pure love consciousness Almighty. And for that, we have to invite Almighty in our lives and in our hearts and surrender completely, so that Divine can take control of our messed up, broken life and transform us into our original face, meaning our true beingness. It also means walking on the pathways of light and love instead of old illusory ways of illusory self. It means expressing ourselves as our soul self so that we can create a bridge of light and love from our illusory self to soul self. It means a way of life that will help us to create pathways of light and love frequencies. It is because pure light and love vibrations will help us in developing our original intimacy with our true belonging. It means learning to experience and live life with gentle, loving awareness and relaxed alertness. It means learning to observe life as our higher self instead of reacting to everything. Page 210. It means just accepting life as it is and as it unfolding according to great scheme of things and plan in each and every moment. Meaning seeing life and the true life process of life with wonder and awe instead of wanting it to be something it is not. It means learning to experience life fully and totally with our sacred presence. It means to engage and involve in life by pure seeing, observing, and responding as our soul selves. It means living mindfully in each new moment with our true and holistic loving presence. It means going beyond the rigid beliefs and value system that has been created by our illusory mind. And all the definitions, beliefs, and values that we have accumulated under the dominance of illusory self have to go. It is necessary so that there is room for new ways and experiences to enter into our lives. Remember, we cannot ride on two different boats simultaneously. We are sure to drown. The illusory boat we have already tried and never got anywhere, so the only option left now is to leave that behind and get on the boat of divine and soul, light and love. It means letting go of the negative illusory filters of various ego tendencies and attitudes. These are greed, attachment, anger, hatred, jealousy, judgments, criticism, false pride, vanity and ahankar. It means all that has been created and linked with me and mine has to be surrendered, so it can be dissolved back into the sea of nothingness where it can find its resolution. So it all can be worked at by the beings of light and love, those who are helping us to transform and connect to our true being and belonging. Page 211. It means going beyond all the different shadows and personalities that we have created, not only in this lifetime but also in innumerable previous lifetimes, and begin to live life with soul, light and love so that we are able to receive divine grace. And with divine grace, all the shadow selves and personalities which are wandering around lost in the tormenting lower dimensional realms can also find the peace. So all these could be embraced in our soul, light and love. And then these would be incorporated and integrated back into our soul self. And it is so that we can once again become complete and wholesome. We can become one unified self and can find our peace and union in the unified field of Source pure love consciousness. In simple words, we need to let go of the conditioned mind and learn to live with our higher senses. It means learn to live with our soul attributes and attitudes. And it happens by connecting to our true being and true belonging. It is only then that we become awakened and linked with our soul Shaktis. These are divine gifts that are lying dormant in our own inner landscape of love and light. And as we begin to walk on the pathways of light and love, and our mental energy field begins to vibrate at very high frequency. And so, the negative particles of lower frequencies are thrown out of our energy field. And the harmonics, rhythms, and the dance of the mental energy field particles and waves begin to come in alignment with our soul frequencies. Page 212. So the link and communication with our higher self becomes much stronger and clearer. And due to this alignment, we will begin to receive the directions from our soul self. And also due to this connection with our higher self, our soul light and love begins to infuse and embrace our mental energy field with loving kindness. Our mental body begins to vibrate with its original beautiful rainbow frequencies. In the embrace of our soul self, it becomes receptive to divine grace. And due to the love and nurturing effect of divine grace, our mental energy field is transformed into higher harmonics and pure tones and patterns of love and light. In the radiance of divine and soul self, our mental body becomes illumined and starts to radiate higher golden frequencies. Its radiance becomes filled with pure love and light. And with higher frequencies of our soul light and love, the information of our higher destiny and pathways becomes available to our mental field as well. Our soul DNA begins to be decoded, and the connection of the mental energy field and our total energy makeup begins to become receptive to divine frequencies. So, we also begin to receive higher frequencies from the beings of light and love who are here on the planet Earth. These are helping us in our connection to our true beingness and eternal belonging. And at this stage of transformation, there is another very interesting blessing that becomes part of our lives. This unique blessing of grace is that our mental energy field also becomes receptive to the higher frequencies of grace that are necessary for our enlightenment and awakening. Page 213. These very special higher divine frequencies are being showered from the higher dimensions of the universe. In this context, I would like to inform you that these days, each morning, many getaways and portals from the dimensions of divine and spiritual hierarchy are opening up. And not only that, each morning, new and specific higher frequencies of divine love and light are being showered. And know that it is a very important information, because those who want to receive these grace frequencies of divine love and light can mediate early in the morning. It is very rewarding in many ways. By doing that, our day-to-day life can also become much easier to deal with. This is also a good exercise to reawaken from the illusory self and identity. It is because we already have had far too many adventures of limitedness on the planet Earth and have become totally immersed in the darkness of illusion. And by meditating early in the morning, the most important thing is that we can speed up our spiritual journey and easily re-establish a direct link with divine and our higher self by receiving these new energies. Now, as we know that divine wave of returning home is already here on planet Earth, so it is time to go back to our true home. And so it is the time to wake up and call it a day and let go the amnesia of the illusory worlds, meaning planet Earth and lower frequency dimensions. It is very appropriate and high time now to make this game of illusion a finished business and pack up and leave. Page 214. It is because we have experienced this illusory prison as our reality for long enough, and it is time to get ready to leave the prison. We have endured much pain and suffering of the third dimensional reality in many varied ways, in fact, more than it was necessary for us to do so. When we surrender ourselves to divine and seek the ultimate meaning, param truth of our being and belonging, then with unconditional grace and love of divine will awaken these inherent Shaktis within our inner space. Divine connects us to these Shaktis so we can reflect these soul virtues in our day-to-day behavior. So it can become our sanskara, meaning part of nature, and so that we do not lose these again. And also by practicing and reflecting our soul attributes and attitude in everyday life, we would begin to develop these further. It is because divine gifted Shaktis are so huge, immense, vast and multidimensional that each of these could be embraced in infinite depths. As we begin to honor our true being and divine in our everyday life, many more divine gifts are showered in our lives. And divine infuses many beams of new frequencies of many of these Shaktis of light and love according to our state of consciousness. You can say that we are initiated into the higher spectrums of the divine Shaktis. Some of these we already have inherent within our soul self, and at the same time we are also graced with new, even more higher divine frequency of Shakti in form of divine light and sound frequency bands. Page 215. These sounds and light frequency bands are all expressions of primordial sound Om. There is just a little reminder that Om is the primordial sound of the existence, and all that exists is an expression of this primordial sound. And as such, this journey of seeking and connecting to our existential divine truth is an ongoing development of our soul light and love qualities. And not only that, throughout our journey, we are continuously blessed with many amazing, awe-inspiring gifts of true eternal joy, bliss, and ecstasy. And as such, life just becomes a huge ongoing divine celebration. And every day, every moment to celebrate divine love, ecstasy, grace, and glory, and move into yet much higher and new dimensions and depths. But it only happens when we learn to honor life and the whole creation and pay homage and reverence to the supreme eternal pure love source consciousness. And so it is about transforming our behavior and express ourselves in our soul purity and with a very deep heartfelt gratitude for divine. And in simple words, our behavior should be filled with loving kindness and compassion for all that exists. It means seeing every fellow man as an embodiment and expression of divine. And when we do that, our behavior and attitude becomes as an expression of our prayer for our eternal belonging, the divine source. And to do that, we need to think and behave with the attitude that all we do is our expression of our love, devotion, and reverence, meaning surrender to the Almighty. Page 216. So whatever you do, do it for love divine and dedicate it to divine. It is because divine is all there is. By doing so, all our various energy fields and our whole being would begin to vibrate with higher frequencies of love, prayer, and surrender. Slowly, all our energy fields would become aligned with the pure love frequencies of our soul self and divine. So we begin to connect to our original beauty, meaning our divine face and makeup. Our soul DNA becomes activated, and all this creates a bridge of light and love to the land of divine, our original home. It means we begin to walk on the pathways of enlightenment and true awakening. And the divine purpose of our lives become alive, tangible, and workable for us. It literally means we are now catching the returning home divine wave. And day by day, as we follow the pathways of soul and divine light and love, with divine grace, we will become fully awakened and will be able to live our lives as unified beings of light and love. And in time, we will be able to return to the source, the unified field of pure source, eternal love consciousness. May divine love and blessings be with you always. Page 217. Alignment of etheric body energy field with soul light and love is essential for awakening and enlightenment. Divine Almighty is the mighty power and source, the creator of all life. It has created the whole existence of the infinite universes, and we are a spark of the eternal source, the divine Sun. And as such, we ourselves are mighty beings of light and love. As we have already learned, the divine source is supremely param conscious, meaning divine almighty is aware in absolute, ultimate, infinite and supreme way. It means none of the words or any expression can explain its supreme consciousness and awareness. It means it is beyond our intellectual comprehension and explanation and our human understanding. In fact, great sages and seers and all ancient sacred scriptures have said that no one can ever understand or have tiniest idea about its majesty and enigma. You can imagine that all the beings of the infinite universes have been gifted with consciousness and awareness by the grace of divine. So how can we even grasp or have any idea of the supreme mighty awareness and consciousness that our creator divine source is? It is not even remotely possible. Just think it is this way that how a little drop can understand and or explain the vast, huge, infinite ocean. Page 218. That is why it is said that it is param aware and conscious. Now the point I am trying to explain is that our source divine almighty has also bestowed upon us this quality as well. And because divine almighty is the great infinite sun and we are its spark, so in accordance we are a unit of total conscious awareness. But under the great scheme of things and plan, we are experiencing our lives under the dominance of the illusory self and forces. And this illusion has been created by being encased in the human body. We have become very limited in our expression and experiences because the Mayavi forces have mesmerized us and created a forgetfulness of our true being and belonging. Under the great scheme of things and plan, we are operating through the medium of various energy fields of our human equipment. And these keep us bound to the lower third dimensional realities. It is because these obstruct and veil our higher senses along with the forgetfulness of our true reality. And as such, an illusion of separateness from our true being and true belonging has been created. And as such, we have been experiencing life under this state of consciousness of separateness. Due to this fundamental illusion of separateness between divine and our true selves, we have created the illusion of the separateness on many levels of life experiences. Not only that, we have also fragmented our psyche and created many different frequency illusory personalities as well under the umbrella of one illusory I. Page 219. Our basic fundamental character changes according to how important we feel others are in our lives. And so, we behave differently with different people in our lives. We think all that exists and other people are separate from us. And also, we are separate from the rest of the world and all other expressions of life on planet Earth. All that exists in our world is not connected to us in any way. Due to the belief in the basic fundamental separateness, all of us are living a very fragmented, broken and illusory life. And that is why there is so much pain and suffering in our lives. But now we have to walk on the pathways of realizing our true beingness and true belonging and oneness with our source creator. It is so that we can become whole and complete again and begin to live our lives as our soul selves rather than as our illusory selves. It is only then that we can realize our oneness with divine and all that exists. All life is happening in single unified divine field.
We are all experiencing and expressing our beingness in this single common unified field. We are all connected with Divine Source in a very alive and vibrant way. We all exist in Divine itself, and we are all connected with each other in this unified Divine field. There is no separateness whatsoever, but we can only realize this divine truth when we become awakened to our true beingness and eternal belonging. As we have already discussed that awakening and enlightenment, meaning realizing our true being and belonging, is our divine destiny and the ultimate purpose of our lives on the planet Earth. And we are also aware by now that our divine destiny and whatever we require to accomplish it is also already in place.
Page 220. In our soul DNA, meaning in our divine gene makeup, we have all the necessary information and Shaktis, meaning powers that we need to wake up from this illusory sleep and coma. But we are also aware that due to the fact that we have been under the illusory self, there is a big gulf created between us and our soul selves. We can explore this huge separateness and gulf and try to understand what can be done to bridge this gap. First of all, we are living under our ego self, and under that we are mainly using our physical, mental, emotional and casual energy fields. Physical body is also made of energy, but it is very dense and low frequency in comparison to all other energy fields, and that is why it feels solid. We are souls, and as such our main life force energy field is our soul selves, which has its own body, also known as bliss body or by some as spiritual body. As we already know that as soul we have descended into the physical realm from our true abode. And as we descended from our true abode, the first dimension that we cross is the higher mental field realm. This is also called etheric realm. It is constituted with the vibrations of very high frequencies of light and love. It is connected with wisdom and intuition energy frequencies. The beings of light and love, those who are experiencing and expressing their beingness on this dimension, are very highly evolved. Most of these beings have already been on the planet Earth a very, very long time ago. And now they have reached to a higher state of consciousness, and as such they are now evolving and experiencing their lives on this dimension. Page 221. And many guardian angels, rishi, munis and saints live on this dimension. What we need to understand that corresponding to the frequencies of this dimension, we also have an energy field which is known as etheric energy field. This is also known as intuition or wisdom body or energy field. And some school of thoughts refer it as higher mental energy field or buddhi sharir or body. This energy field is represented in our physical body as our right brain. This is a very high frequency vibrational light body. The light particles of etheric energy field are vibrating and spinning at a very higher rate. This energy field is very subtle, very fine and intricate. It is usually very difficult to see this energy field in any being. It is due to its very fast rate of spin, its purity and subtleness. Our etheric energy field is very important in connecting to our soul self. It's because it acts like a link, meaning a bridge or a communication zone between our soul self and all other energy fields. It is through this energy field that a continuous and an ongoing exchange of information takes place between all other fields and our soul self. It is a very important bridge between our illusory self and the higher self. We can say that it is the disconnect from etheric energy field bridge that creates a veil and keeps us in bondage of illusory forces. It is what that creates the illusion of separateness from our true being, belonging, and all that exists. To heal that separateness, we have to learn to bridge this gap. Etheric energy field is a bridge of light that we have to cross to establish a link in communication with our soul self. Page 222. And to reach this bridge, we have to create a pathway of light and love, vibrational frequencies from all our other energy fields to the etheric energy field. It is because to establish a clear communication between our etheric and all other energy fields, such as our emotional and mental energy field, both these have to operate on a higher frequency than these are doing at present state of our illusory consciousness. It simply means we have to consciously practice to give room to higher thoughts and emotions in our lives so that both of these fields can begin to vibrate at higher frequencies. It is so that the negative particles and frequencies can be dissipated and all the negative clutter is cleared to make room for new and higher frequencies. It is because it is only through the higher frequencies that a clear line of communication and energy exchange can be re-established, and the veil of illusion and forgetfulness can be pierced and lifted up. But we do not need to worry about how this process will be initiated and performed on a regular basis. It is because it is all done by divine grace. And there are many beings of light and love from many dimensions and even other universes, those who are helping us on the path of awakening. These beings of light and love are cosmic experts in the field of various kinds of energy frequency work. They are taking care of all the detailed work that needs to be carried out. And all we have to do is surrender ourselves into the hands of Almighty Divine and walk on the pathways of light and love. Page 223. As we already know that etheric body is our wisdom body. It is source of unlimited power that we have within our own being. Through connecting with our etheric body, we can realize our unlimited potential in all aspects of our lives. And we can be very successful in creating true abundance, riches, and happiness in our lives. Always remember that the state of consciousness of poverty in various shapes, forms, in any aspect of our lives, whether it is physical, emotional, mental, and or spiritual, all is due to disconnect from our etheric energy field. It is because our etheric energy field is our connection with our soul selves. And you are already aware that it is through our soul self that we are intimately, personally, and vibrantly connected with our eternal source, Divine Almighty. Our etheric energy fields holds the key to power of mind over matter. It is our link and alignment to our soul creative power. And once we establish a link with it by walking on the pathways of light and love, we can truly realize our gift of divine creativity. It works this way that more we follow higher way of life, more our energy dynamics become of pure and higher vibrational frequencies. And more clear communication and relationship we would develop with our soul self. As all our energy fields begin to vibrate on higher and pure frequencies, this bridge of etheric energy field would also become stronger and will begin to vibrate with a higher frequency of light and love. And as a result, more intimate relationship with our soul selves will be established. And as a result, we would become aware of our dormant soul shaktis, meaning powers. Page 224. And with divine grace, these dormant soul shaktis would be reawakened. And not only that, we would be reconnected with these shaktis once more like we were at the time when we started our journey in the first place. Not only that, with the divine blessings and grace, we would also be given clear guidance and inspiration to use these shaktis in our day-to-day lives on regular basis. And as a result of all these factors, our lives would be totally transformed. We would be able to face all the various situations of our lives with the power and the virtues of our soul selves. we would be able to solve and resolve various dilemmas in a very creative and higher way. Our etheric field is our wisdom body, and by connecting to it, our power of discernment would be enhanced to a greater degree. At present, we are only using our conditioned mind to face our life situations, and most of beliefs and values are very limited and flawed. And responses to various life situations are personality guided because our mind, emotions, and psyche are all very confused and clouded. And not only that, while one of the personality is pushing us in one specific direction, the other underlying personalities are also trying to pressurize us into the ways of thinking and acting. So there is always a tug of war going on in between various personalities. And that is why our psyche is also very distorted, confused, and at the same time broken and fragmented. As we have already explained that we are living very fragmented and broken lives. So our approach to life situations is also fragmented and broken. Page 225. We have created innumerable limitations and opposing aspects, values, and beliefs to our life situations. And all this is due to the effect of the illusory self and the forces. That is why our emotions, thoughts, values, and beliefs are creating chaos and havoc in our lives. Due to all these factors, all our energy fields are also vibrating on a very low negative frequency vibrational level of the third dimensional reality. So we have to start to let go of our attachment to our illusory self and ways. Our intellect and logic capabilities are sacred as well and a very necessary tool to experience the third dimensional reality. But all this has to be put in its proper place and perceptive. We are soul, the source power that runs and regulates the human equipment. And so we have to learn to reconnect with our soul wisdom and the sacred and secret wisdom of our soul self, which is also infused in our soul energy field. It is also infused in our soul DNA, meaning our divine genes. What we have to understand that it is our divine responsibility as well that we wake up to our soul self and begin to live our lives as we planned in the first place as our soul self in accordance with the cosmic plan of the primordial forces. So we have to remember that we have been bestowed with all the energy fields to learn to use our soul Shaktis and divine life power in the higher soul way of love and light. And it was the part of the plan of great scheme of thing that we would remain aware and awake in the dream of divine and at the same time still connected to our soul Shaktis and learn to express and use these divine gifts with our own soul love and light. Page 226. So we can co-create higher soul and divine realities in the third dimensional worlds. It was so planned that we can glorify our eternal belonging Almighty Divine Source in all our thoughts, emotions, and actions. And that way mirror our divine love, grace, purity, and sacredness of pure light and love frequencies in the third dimension. And as our soul selves, we were sure that by higher sacred use of the energy fields provided for experiencing third dimensional reality, we would be certainly able to do that. It is because we love our source divine and we are totally devoted and dedicated to our beloved eternal belonging. And that was the way we as our soul self also planned to show our reverence, devotion and dedication to our eternal divine source. And not only that, we as soul were also really excited and full of enthusiasm and passion that we are going to visit the divine Leela dimensions. And in these divine Leela dimensions, we would be able to express our gratitude and unsurpassed tremendous love for divine in its creation. And it was so planned that we would become the masters of the limited illusory Leela worlds. But instead, encased in human equipment, we have succumbed under the influence of Mayavi forces of third dimensional reality. And as a result, instead of being masters, we have become slaves to the Mayavi forces. And we are expressing the limitedness to the extremes. We have gone too far and too deep into the darkness of the third dimension. Although we have failed so far, but due to unconditional divine grace and love, we have been given the opportunity to make amends and honor our responsibility that was allocated to us from the very beginning of our journey on the planet Earth. Page 227. So we have to begin to walk on the pathways of light and love to begin to honor our responsibility in the great plan and scheme of things. And so it is time to re-establish a link with our etheric energy field. It is also essential because by connecting to our etheric body, we would be able to reactivate and enlighten the bridge of soul, light and love. So we can cross the threshold of our illusory self and illusory landscape to return to our eternal abode, the land of pure frequencies of love and light, where we can once again live in the embrace of our eternal belonging and experience our beingness on the pure dimensions of light and love by expressing our divinity. By connecting to our etheric field, we would be able to receive life force energy of connecting to our own soul self and divine pure frequencies of unconditional love and grace. And that will tremendously expand our state of consciousness and transform all our energy fields into higher and pure frequencies of love and light. And so, we would be able to receive unconditional divine love and grace. What we need to understand is that divine love and grace has always been there. But due to our attachment to the illusory self and reality, we have been too focused on it to realize this unmerited gift of unconditional divine love and grace. But when we decide to walk on the pathways of surrender and dedication with blessings of divine grace, our energy fields are transformed and infused with specific frequencies so that we become aware of divine grace and love. Page 228. And a magic of enigmatic transformation happens and we become appreciative and receptive to this privileged gift of unconditional love and grace. And due to expanded state of our consciousness, we would even be able to begin to see and experience divine grace in our everyday life. And we begin to notice presence of unconditional divine love and grace in all our relationships and every situation and event. And this makes us appreciate our divinity and eternal belonging more than ever. And as a result, we would begin to feel true inner joy and peace in our lives. And the state of consciousness of true inner joy helps us to connect and live with more soul, light and love. And this creates harmony and balance in all aspects of our lives. We would begin to experience the state of consciousness of abundance and true riches. We begin to feel content and appreciative of whatever universe brings on the stage of our lives. It means we begin to develop a consciousness of true gratitude. And presence and awareness of unconditional love, joy and harmony in our day-to-day lives empowers us to live and express our soul truth, light and love even more. And this fills us with more pure soul energy and light. So we begin to progress on the spiritual path with great speed, comfort and ease. And with divine grace, we begin to feel complete and whole in ourselves. And we begin to feel very fulfilled and content. Page 229.
Another gift of expanded state of consciousness is that we are no longer under the grip of the illusory forces and self, so the limited and complaining state of consciousness of lack and scarcity disappears by itself. It is because the power and attitude of contentment is linked with and is an expression of the state of the expanded consciousness of fulfillment and wholeness, where life is always abundantly and exceedingly rich. And it is because in the state of consciousness of wholeness, we are connected with our own divinity and divine Almighty itself. And when you are connected with the source of infinite universes, how could you be short of anything? The whole universe belongs to you. And with divine grace and blessings, life becomes full of miracles and you can receive whatever you need for your highest good and realization of your divine destiny. And there is another blessing of divine Almighty that in appropriate expanded state of consciousness, your creative power would become so powerful that even with your single thought, you can manifest whatever you need and require, and or in whatever way you want to express and experience your divinity in the Leela of divine through any specific experience or expression. It is not too far-fetched or impossible in the higher dimensions where we would be able to enter after our awakening and enlightenment. And in these dimensions, we have the freedom to choose, create and manifest it in this way. There have been beings on planet Earth, they become so enlightened and powerful that they were able to create a whole universe with their creative power that they have been gifted by Divine Almighty. Page 230. So remember that the gift of creative power is directly proportionate to our intimate relationship with Divine, which reflects our connection with the pure frequencies of love and light. It is because the source of the whole existence is Divine Almighty itself, and we are bestowed with divine creative Shakti and power as a gift of divine grace. And we are only able to receive this tremendous awesome gift of grace when we become totally centered and connected with the eternal Creator Source Center. And on our pathways of awakening, the most important asset that we have is our third eye energy chakra. It is situated on our forehead between and just above both eyebrows. It connects us directly to our own creative power and as well as the universal cosmic creative power. And so by opening your third eye by meditation, you can increase your power of creativity. Third eye is directly connected with our etheric and soul energy field. By opening our third eye, we can learn to become aware of the higher dimensions of the universe. And not only that, you can even learn to travel as your soul self into the higher dimensions of universe. Our third eye is a vast and very powerful cosmic high frequency energy field. It is not just for seeing as the name suggests, but in fact it is a powerful energy field of our higher senses. It connects us with our soul self and soul sense. And it is also our connection to cosmic wisdom and intuition. Another fact we need to remember that we are under the grips of the illusory forces and self, and as such we are under the control of our conditioned mind and limited third dimensional intellect. Page 231. Under the mesmerizing effect of the conditioned mind, we want divine majesty to be explained by the scientific experiments. We need to understand clearly that there is no way scientific studies can explain and bring about the proof of divine majesty. Only way to connect to divine majesty and unprecedented love is by entering into our inner worlds and connecting to our own soul self. It is where divine lives in our own heart temple with our soul self. And it is where we are going to be able to experience presence of Divine Almighty and our own soul selves. It is by centering and entering in our hearts that we are going to establish an alive and vibrant intimate relationship with divine and at the same token with our soul selves. It is really an unprecedented gift of unconditional love of divine that we can become intimate with divine Almighty in a loving relationship. Divine is ever so mighty and such a tremendous force that no one can really understand it or know it. According to our limited state of consciousness, to a certain extent, we can make some sort of picture of divine unconditional love, grace, and mighty power. But remember, Divine Almighty is the creator and sustainers of the infinite universes, and we are just a tiny little nanoparticle. There is no way we can understand and know it. So do not wait for someone else to prove the presence of divine and your divinity, meaning your soul self. We could live infinite lifetimes and still in the end we would have to seek and learn to walk our individual path and enter into our own heart to link with divine and our soul self. Page 232. And sooner or later we have to learn to listen to that quiet, gentle, loving, kind voice of divine by entering within our own being, so that one day we can establish a personal and alive, loving, vibrant, intimate relationship with our true belonging, the Divine Almighty. And so have the wisdom to understand that there is no other way to awakening and enlightenment. So it is high time to wake up and surrender yourself completely and truly in the hands of Divine. Know your truth as soul and connect with your true eternal belonging, meaning with divine. And this can only happen by divine grace. Only divine can bless us with the special divine Shakti so that we can experience it and re-establish our forgotten relationship with it. Always remember that it is only with the grace of divine that we would be able to connect with eternal source, unified divine field and our unified self. It is only then that all the illusion of duality and separateness can be dissolved in the loving kindness of the primordial force. All the various ways we are experiencing the illusion and its traumatizing effect of the separateness will dissolve and dissipate into huge vast ocean of nothingness. And it is where it can be healed as well in the embrace of divine in the unified field of pure love consciousness. And it is only then that we ourselves would be truly healed and will be able to cross the threshold of illusion and be totally free from the third and lower dimensional realities. It is only then that we would be able to truly dwell in the heart of divine within the oneness of the divine unified field. Page 233. That is what the state of awakening and enlightenment is. As we already know that this state of consciousness of divine unity and oneness is already inherent in our true being, meaning our soul DNA. So practice a regular meditation and re-establish a link with your wisdom body and cross that bridge of light and love to enter into the landscape of your own soul self. Because it is where we would have blessed experiences, encounters, and visions of our soul self and eternal belonging, meaning Divine Almighty. May divine love and blessings be with you, and may you experience your eternal truth, your soul self, and Divine Almighty directly in an alive and vibrant way forever and ever.
End of part 2.